What's going on, everyone? How you doing today? Oh, real Monday today for me. I know it's a Sunday for you guys in the US. So, I'm just jumping on, seeing how things are going. Hoping everyone is doing well out there in the new year. So this is the first live stream of the new year. I'm excited to have, all you guys here with me hanging out, talking, and just going over stuff. I know I talked about goals and everything earlier in the year, or earlier in a live stream, I guess last year technically. So that is always fun, to make that happen. Start thinking about goals. And actually, I had a conversation with my buddy Sohil, who lives in Australia. He's a professor of, I believe, pharmacology out in Australia, and him and I had a big conversation on goals, and he was telling me what his goals are for the year and how he's going about coming up with them. And it was interesting for him to talk about, like, what his core values were and how he was trying to align those core values with goals for the year. And I thought that was, a really interesting process for him to go through. I see Jib in the background. Hey, babe. And so, thinking about, like, what that process looks like, what it's like to go for, your own goals in that way, and how he was like going through this whole process of identifying those core values, figuring out what it is he wanted to do, what it is he wanted to get out of his goals for the year. I thought that was an interesting project, or at least an interesting process for him. And it's interesting because I go about my own goals the same way. Oh, it's okay. I go about doing my own goals the same way. How I look at, what are my core values? How do they align? What do I want my goals to be, and what do I want them to achieve? From that perspective, and that's kind of how I came up with mine. And he was sort of going through that process, talking about, what he wants from, professionally, personally, emotionally, relationship wise. And I thought that was a great way to go about it, for sure. And then, hearing him kind of like dive into his and sort of really, put some thought into where he's coming with his. I thought that was a great approach, for a lot of reasons. And it made me kind of reflect back on mine. Like, so, like, do I have personal goals, and, do I have, are they separate from my business goals? How do I want to go about that? Like, where do I see my design studio heading? Where do I see the media company heading? And how do I want those goals to be reflected in that process? So it was a big kind of coming to for me. So I was really interested to see that overall. And of course, it's just good to catch up with him. I don't think him and I had talked for maybe like a year. I mean, we chat a lot all the time on we chat a lot all the time together on WhatsApp and whatnot, but I don't think we've actually had like a video call in about a year. So one of the things that we actually said we're going to do is hold each other accountable and, try to call each other every day, if possible. And not every day, sorry, every month if possible, and have a catch up with the like the video chat. I think we did FaceTime. So, just do something like that every month, and catch up with each other. And I thought that would be kind of cool. And I think he agreed. And, it was just good to see where he's at. And again, it's funny because you think like someone like him, he's PhD, I think he's department head, and, he's got, these other goals he has professionally. Like he's really getting a lot of pressure to do. He's really getting a lot of pressure to do grant work and to do more research and get more money coming into the university. So, for him to have to face that, I thought that was interesting. That, he was saying the grant world is dried up from the perspective of, there's really no one issuing a ton of grants out there, and he's got to get grants. That's his kind of like main main thing that the university is holding him to. So for him, I think it's definitely an interesting position to be in, as far as you've got to do this, you've got to bring in this much money, because if you don't, you're of no value to the organization. And I thought that was it was a strange way to go about it for the university perspective, but it makes a lot of sense, I guess. Like academia, that's what it's about, bringing in that type of cash, bringing in those dollars from grant money and donors. He was saying it's dried up, but if you can actually bring in some grants, then you're in a pretty good position overall. You're kind of like the rock star. Hey, gotta love Thailand. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you today. How's things with you? I was just talking about, my buddy Sohail, that he and I had a catch up, and what that was like for like catching up for the first time for like a year on a video call, and just going over like sort of the start of the year. It's been an interesting one for me. I know, I was talking with Mike. He's still kind of in the process of recovering from everything that was going on. So for him, it's like he's really like still hurting, and he's trying to get to the hospital, or he's got a doctor's appointment today and chiropractor. So hopefully he gets mended up and we're on the way back to doing Bangkok Strange again, which I would love to be back doing. I want him to be 100% first, or at least get to the point where he's not in constant pain with his back. And actually, kind of funny, I ended up having to have emergency surgery on Saturday, because Saturday, I ended up having an abscess in my tooth, and I will say it was the most painful thing I've ever felt. This abscess in my tooth that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even open my eyes. It was so painful. I couldn't walk, and end up having to go to the hospital, get it checked out, and they end up having to remove the abscess, and the infection. The tooth had cracked. The infection was in my jaw. Not the best look overall for me, but definitely once it was done, I mean, I felt so much better. I told him to give him a call. My wife has passed away. Oh, passed away. She had 4 back surgeries, and she finally had an implant put in her back. And I was going to explain to him that it was the only thing that gave her any kind of relief. I could find out the manufacturer of it and stuff, but I gave her 2 years of the best relief she ever had. Oh wow! So was it a disc implant? Gotta love Thailand, or was it something else? Because I know when I had my back injury, I ruptured 2 discs, and one of the things that the doctor talked to me about was getting the disc implants. But the reason I opted not to get the surgery is I had put on so much weight after the injury that my recovery chances were going to be pretty low. But yeah, I've heard people who've had the disc implants. The people who had the disc implants have actually had huge pain relief. It's generally a very easy surgery to recover from. So hopefully, if it's the case with him that it's a disc issue, that might be an option. But I don't know that was necessarily the underlying cause of his problem. I think it was more skeletal in nature, that it was like his spine was actually like twisted or in the wrong place or something. So I'm not sure exactly what his underlying cause is, but it can be a lot of things for different people with back injuries. That was the wire that went up her spine to where the pain was, and actually started with it on the outside of her skin for 1 week. Oh, it's interesting. Interesting. So it was like some type of structural piece. I was walking all hunched over, and it was more miraculous than thing that I'd ever seen. She started standing upright, and 3 weeks later, she went inside and put permanent. Wow. Oh, No drugs at all. That's good. Yeah, when my back was really bad, and instead of taking drugs, if I take opiates, which were the painkillers they were prescribing me, I have a hard time breathing. I don't. It deals with the pain. My body doesn't respond well in other ways. And so when I had my back injury, I was using my TENS unit a lot to manage the pain, along with some normal anti-inflammatories and stuff. But that's great that it took away all her pain and it helped her stand upright. And man, that's good. It's interesting that they mounted it outside first and then went inside. That's yeah, I'm not a spinal surgeon. I don't know, but it sounds like an interesting approach for sure. Yeah, I kind of like at the same. Yeah, I sort of wish like sometimes I had the spinal surgery, and then sometimes I'm like, yeah, it worked out for me in the end. But it's like if I don't keep my core strong, I definitely feel it in my back. It was an outpatient too. She was in and out and back home. All they did was superficial, cut the skin and put it in under her skin and recover. Wow, wow, that's crazy. So it was a back surgery that was outpatient. That's insane because I know even for the when they were talking about like doing the disc surgery on me, it was like I think a couple days recovery in the hospital. So to have a spinal surgery that was also an outpatient surgery, that's insane. It just shows you the level that modern medicine has gotten to in the actual the actual results that we can get from modern medicine. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. It's such a such a marvelous thing that modern medicine can actually be. You can have an outpatient spine surgery. That's wild, and it gave her like you said, instant relief with no drugs. That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I hope Mike doesn't have to have surgery. I mean, if it's what's going to fix it for him, that'd be great. But whatever it might be, I'd like to see him start moving towards recovery this week. It was just a tough week with all the chiropractors being closed, not a lot of specialists in the hospitals, not the best position to be in. But for me, I was just shocked that, I was able to have like oral surgery so quick, when we went into the hospital. It's actually funny. The first hospital we went to, they wouldn't see me right away for whatever reason. We waited like an hour and they were like, oh no, you have to wait until we finish our patient schedule. It could be a few hours more. And I was just in so much pain that Jim ended up taking me like 5 kilometers down to another hospital, and they brought me right in, got me x-ray and cleaned it up. And it took like 2 full doses of Novocaine just to get the pain manageable. And then they were able to go in, relieve the pressure and then clean up all the infection, get it all cleaned out and sanitized. Very similar to the unit, but on the inside. Oh wow! So it was like a TENS unit inside of her. Wow, that's wild. Wow. So like a TENS unit, but it was actually inserted inside, so you have like constant pain relief. That's cool. That's really cool. I use mine for non-back related things all the time now. I'll throw it on my calves post workout. Such a dirty boy. Hey, what's up, Josh? Hey, happy birthday to Josh, by the way. Josh hitting the big 4-0 today, I believe. Congratulations, Josh. Happy birthday. Hope it's epic. How are the bison burgers coming along? I asked him what he's doing, anything special. He said he was going to make bison burgers. That's like his tradition to hook it up with some bison burgers. Did you end up making the video about all the deals you get on your birthday? Oh, delicious. Great. Well, I knew you said they would be. You knew what you were doing. You make the same thing every year, so it's always good. No doubt. Yeah, I was just talking about, I told you already, Josh, about how crazy the surgery was. I had to go in and have oral surgery and because of the infection. It was weird how it just like came on, boom, like last minute. Yeah, Josh is here.
Happy birthday.
Jim says happy birthday. I don't know if you heard or not. He's 40.
Oh,
Yeah.
younger than you.
Yeah, Josh is younger than me.
birthday 40, so he's 43.
42. 42.
43.
The Jib likes to count a year ahead. I don't
No,
understand it.
not year ahead.
Yeah, a whole year ahead. So in America, like the day you turn 42, you're 42 for the next 12 months. In Thailand, as soon as you cross the
5 years.
calendar year, you're the next age, right? So since my birthday's on the 30th, it was not the greatest thing. I'll try to look back and find the name. Yeah, if you could, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see what it is, what it entails. Thank you, Jib. Just gave him. I just have more gray in my beard. Yeah, your beard's looking pretty good. We're both bald though, genetically weak in the follicle space. Genetically weak in the follicle space for sure. Yeah, so Josh's birthday is perfect, right? Beginning of the year, so he'll be 40 all the way until
Yes.
Unlucky. I'm just unlucky with this December 30th thing. She could even adjust it from her iPhone. That's crazy. Did she have an external battery or was everything internal after it was put on? That's what I always find interesting. Like, where's the power source for these things come from? Oh, another thing. While I'm waiting on that, the other thing I want to think about is, they announced on the 30th on my birthday in the U.S., but I woke up to it in the state in the morning here on New Year's. Was MF Doom passed away? Turns out he passed away back in October though, and MF Doom has always been like a huge. Has always been a huge inspiration for me creatively. One of my favorite rappers, but also, the way he developed his music, the way he developed worlds that he rapped about and characters, it was really influential to me. And, I just, it was a crazy thing that, he had passed away, but like villain to the end, his wife kept it concealed. The masked villain is his identity. And so the idea that he hit it all the way to the end was crazy. And he was only 49, and to think that he was still producing like amazing hip hop music at 49 was incredible. But it's a sad thing for me. It's a big loss. Yeah, Josh, right? That is wild that it was all there, like all in one unit. 10 years in those for back surgery in life was, yeah, I know a lot of people have gotten stuck in that cycle of back surgery gotta love Thailand. And it's never people who get stuck in that surgery of that cycle of surgery to problem to address another issue to fix a symptom. They're never happy. So it's just amazing to hear that is what got her to where she needed to be. And I think that's incredible. We aren't a heart thing inside of you. It's like power source. Yeah. So I think with a pacemaker, it's got a power source. They got a power source like that as well inside. I take my wife to work. It's been great talking. If you guys like the information, let me know. Yeah, dude, please do send it to me on Facebook. Gotta love time. I'd love to see it, man. Have a great day. I hope your wife has a good day at work. In the lockdown areas of, I don't know if where you guys are at is locked down, but Bangkok lockdown starts I think tomorrow or today. But it's I was talking about MF Doom. Jib's coming to correct some information.
Correct information for Thailand now. Like we're not gonna have official lockdown, same as the early of last year. So it's like they just ask for cooperation, like work from home or like change work time. Like,
so all the soapy people are working from home.
No, some business that the government order to close, like okay, soapy, yeah, right. And I think it's like a bar. So they said like a restaurant that sell alcohol, like not allowed, or you can open as a restaurant but no alcohol sale.
Take out only, right?
No, they change.
Okay.
Because like a kind of a like the big person in a restaurant business. I'm not sure. It might be she wrote a letter, like
Mm.
official letter about like how like restaurants would suffer from this lockdown, like just take away, it will lose like something like a big amount of money in
Big
it.
revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like government reconsider and said, okay, you can sit and eat in a restaurant, but with like whatever regulation, like social distancing and like
Let's see how
cleaning,
long that
whatever.
lasts.
I know, but I'm not gonna eat like sit and eat in a restaurant because
Yeah.
like think like you sit far away, but it's not gonna be that far because restaurant is not like a park, like huge space. And think about like your next table just sneeze. How could you know that it's safe or not?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely not gonna go to a
Shopping malls
restaurant
are
anytime.
open.
Yeah, the shopping malls are still open, but I'm gonna
I
avoid
think
it for the.
theater, maybe not.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but have to check. Like they change it
Scala's
every
closed, so
day.
I'm not sure where I'm gonna go anyway.
Netflix.
Netflix, yeah, but yeah, so it's interesting. The power was internal, and they would have to take it out every 10 years and change the battery. Man, that's wild. How crazy that all is. I don't know, Josh. Did Florida lift all their restrictions? I think I had heard that they were going to, but again, Florida is one of these crazy places, man. Who knows? You know, they're always doing something insane. Um, but yeah, so starting off the new year, I had the surgery, emergency surgery on the tooth and jaw. I got the infection out. I feel great now. I was definitely exhausted after all of that, but you know, it's cool to be back at work today, start really, you know, hit the ground running with Monday and try to really make the most of it, you know, and get out there. But I have to go back Thursday to have a follow up with the physician and see if everything's good and if they want to do some other stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens on Thursday. But until then, it's sort of work as usual here in the studio and getting out in front of stuff. And again, just making content, working on banging out more videos this week as well. And again, I'm going to try to do a couple a week now that, you know, I'm really getting to the swing of it. And, you know, the editing workflow has come together. I brainstormed a bunch more ideas. I decided to put all of the book the book summary videos I've done. I'll start to move those over to an audio version as well and do a podcast called the Bearded Book Podcast. And I started setting that up last night. I was actually showing Josh the the graphics for it. I made the 3x3000 pixel banner logo for it. So I'll get that up and running. Hopefully within this week, I'll get the first couple episodes up and ready to go and have that all fired up, you know. But a lot of other projects this week is too. I'm expecting to get some samples back from some of my crafts people who I work with. Well, yeah, Jib was wearing a Diesel Diva shirt. So Bev, the Diesel Diva, is a good friend of ours. We actually, Josh, I think you know I was in Manila a few years ago for a black tie boxing event, and it was actually Bev Diesel Diva who was boxing. And she was actually Jib's Gracie pink belt instructor. So Bev is a great friend of ours, and Jib's got a bunch of Diesel Diva shirts that she rocks from time to time. And I know like a lot of times you'll see the Diesel Diva fight gear out, especially with female fighters. Hey, Steve, how's it going, man? Oh, yeah, Josh, you remember that. How's things out in the valley, Steve? You guys holding up with the new year yet? California hasn't fallen into the ocean? I was just talking about, I don't know if you caught it. I was talking about I had to have emergency surgery on Saturday. So it was a good start to the year, but at least I'm better. I'm probably 99% right now. I might even try to get a workout in today, light one. But I was saying before, Mike's is still struggling, so we're hoping to get him on the road to everything works out with his chiropractor today. But yeah, just you know, expecting a lot of samples coming in this week from a lot of the craftspeople that we work with. We've got the denim line coming through. a bunch of shirt samples come through for a client that I work with, where I did, worked on a bunch of shirt designs with them, plus some waistcoat designs that we mocked up. So yeah, I had a abscess in one of my teeth, and the tooth was cracked. It infected my jaw, Steve, and it came on like, it's not like I had pain at all going into it, but for just like right before bed on Friday, right before bed on Friday, it just hit me with like this overwhelming wave of pain. And it's funny because the only thing that could keep it really at bay was to hold cold water in my mouth, which, from my understanding, would reduce the swelling in the tooth and keep the pain kind of under control. But I basically was just waiting for Jib to wake up because I didn't want to wake her up. I didn't think I was going to be able to see. I thought I was just going to go to a dentist. We ended up going to the hospital, and they had to clear the infection out. And it cracked, and it infected my jaw. It was a big mess. But luckily, it's like, other than being exhausted and peeing a lot because I ended up drinking so much water through the process of holding it in my mouth, and even though I was spitting a lot of it out, you're just constantly drinking it. And so it was a bit bloated and like exhausted when we got home. Slept for like 6 hours, woke up, and then went back to bed the next night. And yesterday I was like 80%. Today I feel like 99, like bang on. And again, because it's Monday morning here now, I'm just really excited to get back at it. So COVID is raging there in Cali. Really, how bad is it with you guys? I know that we've got some we've got a little bit of a spike in cases here, but I'm hoping that we get it under control with the new restrictions. So Jib was just telling me they relaxed some of the restrictions on like restaurants and stuff, but I'm hopeful that we can flatten the curve again. Yeah, Steve, thanks, man. I'm feeling okay. Feeling a lot better. Jib's here to pump information.
Okay, so for this time, the reason that they're not gonna lock down, because they get a conclusion that from the first time when they order to lock down, business like crash, and people cannot go to work, and like a small business die. But people who like not behave, like still hang out, go to like a illegal gambling place, or still grouping together and drink and drunk, they still do it no matter like a restriction area or curfew. They still break it. So this time, the doctor who like announced every day, he said, well, this time we're not gonna lock down, but we like just give a guideline what you should do, what you should not do, and please follow that, and then just like have to take care of yourself.
It'll be interesting to see if businesses actually follow that, or people follow those guidelines. So this is interesting. Steve said hospitals in both North and Southern California are nearly out of ICU beds, which that's crazy. I think that's why Thailand has had such low mortality rates with COVID, is because our hospitals have never really gotten to capacity. We never had any hospital that was even in danger of being overfilled with COVID patients, which is not yet. But again, with this lax restrictions, I'm a bit nervous about what's going to happen. One large hospital in LA have cleared out their gift. Wow, they cleared the gift shop to add more COVID beds. Wow, that's horrible.
Oh my god, how can they have enough staff to work in hospital?
Yeah, so I don't. It must be insane. And like, hospitals here are big, but like there are some like really, really big hospitals in the US. But I think about like when you're at, I think that's where the mortality issue comes from, is that these hospitals are at such capacity. And here we've just been really fortunate where our hospitals have not been at this huge capacity. So I think we're lucky in a lot of ways, where we're really fortunate that that's not the case. Wow, that's wild that you guys are running out of capacity, man. I have
set up like a few hospitals.
So I know in New York at one point they had brought in hospital ships, but I guess there's issues on the hospital ships. There were issues where they didn't want to take contagious patients because of the air circulation and there's other issues with having a hospital ship as
Mm.
opposed to just having like ICU beds.
Mm.
Man, what a crazy time it's become. And I know a lot of people were hoping, with the end of 2020 and moving into 2021 that all of this would end, but I really think we have at least 2 quarters of of everything kind of getting back to normal. And especially, like I said, I'm worried about Thailand because the reason we were so successful with controlling COVID the first time was the strict measures, and the fact that they're going to relax these measures, let restaurants stay open for dine-in, I think is a mistake. I mean, I understand that small businesses, especially hospitality restaurant businesses, they suffer if we lock
Yeah.
down, and the delivery service,
Now people
yeah,
afraid of like
you gotta talk here.
now like Thai, we worry about like we won't survive like not enough cash for living more than getting COVID now.
Yeah, I think also like like Chris from Retired Working From You, and like Mike has been down in the islands. A lot of you guys know Todd, Todd Orman. They've all been down like Phuket, Samui, all these places, Koh Phangan. They're all just empty and devastated, right? And there's people who just have left, businesses that just closed up because they rely on tourism. One that's a risk you take with tourism in general. That your business is usually seasonal, and it's usually reliant on the economy being strong enough for people to travel. No one plans for a pandemic, obviously, but man, what a crazy economic situation for a country like Thailand, where tourism is so big. And I'm sure there are areas in the US where like there are towns that are just tourism towns. And I remember there was a place up in Maine that I would go to in the fall called Algonquin, Maine, like a little beach town, kind of sleepy, but it's a tourist place, and people go there all summer and spring, summer, and fall for tourism. But with COVID, I'm sure towns like that are just hurting. Because of holiday travel in the U.S., they're expecting the January to have the worst numbers of infection. Frank, yeah, man, I heard that. I heard that about Christmas, that they're expecting a post-Christmas surge, similar to the one they saw post-Thanksgiving. And I know a lot of people who were saying like they were going to travel and see family no matter what. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people that they like? That if you travel, you're gonna you're at really high risk of infection or infecting someone. And like I think one of the things that Thailand did great over the New Year was they did the virtual prayer thing, because a lot of Buddhist Thais, or I should say most Thais who are Buddhists, a lot of them like to pray from like a certain part in the day until after midnight. And so a lot of the monks set up like Zoom prayer sessions.
Temples, like a famous temple around the country. Like they set up like a live stream. So I like turn on the TV at home and let's say, okay, listen it until I fall asleep.
I thought one of the best photos I saw was of 2 kids. They had to be like 12 years old, setting up a webcam and a laptop for one of the monks. I don't know what temple it was at. It was just hilarious. This monk had to be 90.
This is a friend who live on 95.
Yeah.
So I have a app. I'll pass it to you that it will show you where you are, and this is near there any infected case that official announce. There's an app.
Frank, so Jim's gonna pass an app to me. I'll send the link to you on Facebook, and anyone else in Thailand who wants it, I'll send the link to this app that shows you like it's like a heat map of infection. So I don't know if you have it already, Frank. So Steve, you said Las Vegas. I can imagine Vegas has got to be hurting, right? That whole city is built around the tourism industry. I think there's no what's it called, away COVID-19. Yeah, so it's like it's like a heat map. I don't know if you guys can. Yeah,
blue dot is you.
So the blue dot is us, and then everything around, and you can zoom in. Obviously.
Yeah, we have one case in on note that.
Yeah, so you can see these are all the reported cases like around us. Las Vegas is built around tourism, right? So even when I was an engineer at Cox, if you went out, there are a lot of people who want to go work in the Vegas market, and the Vegas market is almost entirely what they call the hospitality network. It's a fiber network that just deals with, hospitality and like all the casinos. So there was a whole team of engineers that only supported casino customers, and it was like the biggest revenue.
It's about like a hotel and gambling.
It's about gambling, and there happen to be hotels attached to the.
So,
Yeah.
so do they
They talk to the mic.
do they close all the hotel in Las Vegas?
I think for a while they closed everything, and then they opened back up again.
Because like you would sit in like an AC room all
Yeah.
day and gambling, right?
Yeah, they smoke in the casinos in Vegas, and
Oh,
and they give you free alcohol.
that's not good.
Yeah, not the best look. Came to Bangkok in February, have been home literally every day since. Only way to 100. Yeah, it is the only way to 100% getting it is to not contact with people, man. And too bad you didn't get stuck in Bangkok when you were here, because you would have been a lot safer than being in Cali. Obviously, work might not have been so good, but and I thought that the people who there were people I know who left thinking that Bangkok was going to be completely destroyed, and they ended up coming back and or not being able to come back, and they were stuck in the U.S. and it just wasn't going good. The missus seems to know about the infections at a granular level in this area. She may be using that app. She was telling me what store an infected person went to in Imperial World in Samrang. Yes, I think that's probably the app plus the news.
Samrong is like a low income area that like a labor will hang out.
I should just set up the second mic and let Jim.
No, I'll go back.
She's going back to eat. Yeah, so the infection rate has been tough. I've got to talk to my suppliers today, or my craftspeople today who do work with me, and and help out that, make sure that they're good, that all the craftspeople are good who do the work, and that my samples are going to be coming in. That's going to be really important going forward, because there's definitely a lot of issues. Real quick, I'll throw this out there. There's a lot of guys have asked like how they can support the channel, so I ended up making like the buy me a coffee link, similar to Mike's buy me a smoothie thing. It's in the description of the video. You guys can check it out. Like, some of the people who have asked how they can support, I thought it'd be an easy way to set up something simple, easier than Patreon or whatever. So link in the description, but no big deal. Either way, guys, no requirements. But I figured throw it together, make it easier for people if they did want to support something I'm doing here with the content. I must say, in my office, and we have maintained a 0% infection rate. Nice. Wow. So is it a lot of work from home, or just your building in general, Frank? I'm curious, because even like a few of the people I know who work in buildings that had really strict procedures, they end up getting like 1 or 2 infections in the building, and then their buildings completely shut down and disinfected, and people were kept on a cycle of like coming in, and they put some really strict procedures in place. So I'd be interested to know what your office has done, or how many people work there too. How big is it? Jumping in on the morning coffee here. This is after the oral surgery. I couldn't drink anything super hot or super cold, and so even still, like, I wait for my coffee to chill a bit. My office is my home. So just like me, Frank. Yeah, this is my home is the office, right? So we've got the studio on the first floor where we work out of, but it's really just Jib and I. So and usually with Jib was back in school. Jib, are all the schools still closed until 17? Yes, till the end of January. So now Jib is coming. Should I get the chair and microphone for you?
So first, all school like quick shutdown before New Year. Like I had like about 10 days before New Year, like just teacher just say, okay, bring your work back home and work from home, and just like send photo through the Line application, update your work. That's all. And like then 2 days ago, um, Bangkok announced like, okay, every school will close until 17, and just Sunday, no, Saturday night, yeah, Saturday night, um, the education
Minister.
ministry
Yeah.
they just announced like in the night, like, okay, every school extend until the end of January, which is, I'm not sure, like by the end of January will reopen on February or not. It's like, for me it's not that hard because I just can work from home, but for a student, but well, actually they have a system like online already, because the first time shut down they still have that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, kind of wild, and the fact that the schools all shut down, it's definitely interesting. And so just the missus comes downstairs to pester with some food. Yeah, definitely. I think because you're so close to all the food, right? It's going to be the most difficult thing to maintain a good diet. If you live right on 95 and there's all this food around, is definitely not an easy. That is a high stress, high willpower situation you put yourself in, Frank. Yeah, I think that's, to me, this is like the best way to, if you're gonna do business. So you have your office or studio, whatever, on one level, right, and you live on the other, and like yeah. So I think for us, like the nice thing is, like upstairs, like we keep our bedroom really stark, right? There's nothing in the bedroom. It's just workspace. It's just down here is workspace. Upstairs, a bed and a shelf, and I think we have 2 mirrors upstairs. And that's it. Like we don't want to accumulate stuff in the bedroom, because for us it's like you go up there and that is like an easy kind of like very safe place to just kind of go and like relax and fall asleep. There's nothing in there cluttering it up. So everything else is work, studios, all that, but upstairs just the bedroom. What's this? Crime on the Vegas Strip has surged due to the lack of people on the street. It was never dangerous before. That's true. Like I've been to Vegas a few times. Now I'm not a big Vegas person, but it is always packed. I mean, there's little crimes, there's pickpockets, stuff like that, but there's no violent crime on the Strip, at least. Even like the old Strip or the parts of the Strip that are not super populated, there's there's not a ton of crime there. But if you go to the actual outside of Vegas, I heard, or outside the Strip areas where there's no crowds, I heard there is a bit of crime. So the fact that there's almost no crowds, that would make a lot of sense. And like a lot of people out of work, right? All the hospitality workers, all the casino workers, the dealers, the caterers, the cleaners. I imagine, like, it must take a small army to man just one casino, because they're so massive in Vegas. And of course, casinos here are just like little illegal shop parlors. So people are going in and doing work, but
we don't have casino.
Yeah, just like there's no prostitution in Thailand. There's no casinos, right? It's illegal. You can go eat, but you don't have to hang out. I know you want to sit down. Or you want to pull the chair over here and I'll get the second mic?
I don't know. When you say something about Bangkok is wrong, I want
to... Yeah, Jib just wants to be able to always correct me on Bangkok topics, which is fine. But yeah, I think with to Frank's point too, about like 100% non-infection rate or 0% infection rate. It was the same thing here at the office. Mojo Matt, hey, how's it going, man? Good morning. Thanks for coming by. Man, look all jacked and tanned in your profile picture, Mojo Matt. I'm gonna steal your photo and just paste my head on. How's that? Okay. I'll like Photoshop some tattoos on as well. I want to be jacked like that. I'll say one thing, like to the point, Steve, about the crime in Vegas. There really hasn't been, in my perception anyway, an uptick in crime in Thailand at all, or at least in Bangkok, since COVID hit. I mean, I'm sure there's been maybe a little bit, but it's not really like the type of place where you see violent crime popping in or anything like that. So, I think we've done, really well as far as recovery from a business perspective. I was talking to one of my friends who works at a smaller office couple hundred people in Bangkok, and they've got sort of a split work from home situation going on for the new year due to some of the restrictions and some of the precautions going on. But I think even with these new cases, I think we're going to be able to sort of keep things going. Again, the pullback on the restaurant lockdown or the restaurant dining ban is a bit bothersome to me. I think that's going to be trouble and problematic. But overall, I'm not too sure where it's going to lead to. Hopefully, you don't get a spike in cases because of that. Oh, another thing from a design perspective, I was working on a lot of you guys know Chris from Retired Working for You. So I'm working on a pair of custom sneakers for him, customized Nanyang's. And so I'm probably going to put together a video on like that process, like just sort of like the DIY process of doing the customization. Cause I don't do too much like spray with it. I do more of like a full ink saturation. But I think he gave me his size, so the Nanyang is probably my favorite shoe overall. So I'll have that video coming out soon. But I'm also thinking about doing some t-shirt design. And one of my buddies who teaches at Chula full time told me about a print shop that's not too far from there. So, and he's done some t-shirts with them. So I'm gonna go down and see their press. I think I've talked about before. I used to work on I used to work on a press at Liquid Blue, which is a big t-shirt manufacturer in Rhode Island when I was in high school as my summer job. Oh, what would you say here, Mojo Matt? It's more about the angle and the pose and the muscle, but feel free to use it. Yeah, no, it looks like you got a fair amount of muscle and some good lean body mass going on there, Matt. But yeah, no one would ever believe that's me being that lean. Definitely not going to fly. But yeah, I found that. But thanks for the permission. But yeah, the press in Bangkok. So I've got some mock-ups for Dapper Villain stuff and for Bangkok Strange. So I might do some local runs of t-shirts with some of our designs and just have them on hand. But I'm thinking about doing like some more overall t-shirt design work with this press and see how it kind of works out. But as we get ready to run the collection and do the lookbook for Dapper Villains, I thought having like a few different t-shirts for that brand would be kind of cool as sort of like a throw-in, even though we're looking more at doing like the waistcoats and the denim line is really the main focus. I found Bangkok to be among one of the safest cities in the world. Tokyo is number one, but I feel completely safe in Bangkok. Yeah, Bangkok really is safe. I mean, any issue I've ever had safety-wise from a crime perspective was always foreigners, never Thais. There was one time I was getting off the train at Chatuchak when I used to live in Prachani Wet, which great neighborhood in northern Bangkok if you ever get the chance to visit, or if you're looking for like kind of like an out of the way place to live, Prachani Wet's a fantastic neighborhood, but it's hard to get to because they just opened a train that goes up that way, but you have to switch from Mochit to Mochit 2 to get there. I think it's called the Dark Red Line. And I was getting off the train and this, I think he was German kid, was just tweaked out of his mind. It was like maybe 9 p.m. at night. And he was trying to steal my phone from me, like while I was like typing a message to Jib while I was getting off the train. And he kept trying to steal my phone. And he was trying to slap me in the face, like open hand slap me. I mean, this kid must have been like 50 kilos soaking wet. I mean, it wasn't like a threat really, but so he was trying to grab my phone. And when I pulled my phone away, I was like, what the fuck? And he said something to me in what I think was German. And then he tried to slap me in the face. And you could tell he was just tweaked out of his mind and he looked dirty, like what we would call a Farung Kino care, right? Like that type of look, like Chong tank top, flip-flops, elephant pants. And he tries to slap me in the face and I punched him in the chest. Just one punch, straight to like center mass on his chest. And he just collapsed on the ground. And the security guard on the train, there's a security on each end of the platform, came running over and he looked at me and he just said, okay, crop, go. And so like he clearly saw what happened and that I was just, the guy was trying to slap me and I punched him. And he was like, just go. And his other friend came over and they just grabbed the guy together and they brought him to the elevator. And I was walking down the stairs. I don't know what happened to him after that, if they arrested him or they just sent him off into Chatuchak by himself, all tweaked out of his mind. But that was the only time I ever had like anything really physically like threaten me. And it was like some European tourist guy. Hey, Dan, what's going on, man? Cable TV cutters. Dan was an engineer in telecom as well. Him and I used to work together in Rhode Island for years and years. He was one of the engineers who I interfaced with when I was a technician before I was an engineer, before I moved to Cleveland. Dan ended up leaving. I think you left not long after I went to Cleveland and went on to do other things. So, and now he runs this Facebook group, Cable TV Cutters, that puts out a bunch of resources on like how you can get over the top services and non-cable services. Take you out. He had to be high as a kite. He was pretty tweaked, man. He looked like he was high as balls. Yeah, 2012. Yeah, so you left a year after I moved to Cleveland. Yeah, and then I left. I think I was only in Cleveland 2 years, and the company basically damaged me so much emotionally. I had to move to Thailand to escape. Not the best working culture at big telecom companies, especially that one. They put a lot of emphasis on like this sort of fake culture of, they want you to think that like they've got a good culture, but they never back it up, type of thing. But yeah, to your point, Steve, yeah, I really do think that Bangkok, not just the greatest city in the world, but really is really safe. And the nice thing about Bangkok is it still has an edginess to it. Whereas, Singapore, everyone talks about how safe Singapore is, how great Singapore is. To me, Singapore is one of the most stressful places in the world. It's this really type of manufactured safety and happiness. It feels like a very sort of cyberpunk dystopian city almost, in that everything is so controlled, in the culture is so strict and the laws are so strict, and everyone's just like, and I've had the opportunity to go work in Singapore before, and I always say no, simply because it's not for me. And there's something about Bangkok. There's a sense of freedom. Obviously, it's incredibly more financially viable to live in Bangkok versus Singapore. The cost of living in Singapore is probably higher than New York or San Francisco, whereas the quality of life is really low for that amount of money. Whereas in Thailand, there's a little edginess to the city. It's still really fun. And there's a sense of freedom, which also comes with a very low stress lifestyle comparatively to somewhere like Singapore. Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur is another great choice. I love Malaysia. I love KL. It's probably a little bit more modern than definitely a little bit more modern than Bangkok, but still has some of the qualities that make Bangkok nice. But it's trending more in that Singapore direction every day. Yeah, same. Dan, I totally get what you're saying, especially the teams, the department we worked in has, very low regard and applies very little value to engineering skill. And it's the reason I ended up leaving telecom, honestly, the culture at the company was really bad. It was really poor, but also it had a lot to do with the fact that engineering became more of a commodity skill than it was a strong technical operation, where you were more just kind of running scripts that you got from corporate, and you were just sort of support as opposed to actually doing engineer design work. Then a month later, he was trying to avoid a beating after a failed attempt at stealing a bike and tried to escape into my place by punching his way into where he fell through before. What? Did I miss like a first part of this? Or are you talking about did one of your comments get blocked? Oh, yeah, for some reason. Or did I miss your comment? So it said, no, I guess not. I guess you're just talking about the German guy in general. Yeah, Singapore is pure vanilla is the Steve, the absolute best way to describe it. It is it's like the Topeka, Kansas of Asia, right? It really is, or like the Omaha, Nebraska of Asia. It's weird, man. It's such a weird, stressful place. You know, it's definitely it's definitely wild. You know, the fact that it's so successful, it's so expensive, it's beautiful in a lot of ways. It's got this great architecture. It's a super modern city. There's just it's funny, like if you guys know the YouTube guy, the comedian Nigel Ying that does the Uncle Roger character, he always has these jokes in his live sets about Singapore, and Singapore just steals Malaysian stuff and calls it Singaporean, like Nasi Lemak and like food, all that stuff, and culture, right? It's essentially Malay culture as well, but there's something wholly unoriginal about Singapore, and even like they've got great business policies and stuff like that. It's just like no one wants to be there, man. It's from a business perspective, from a creative perspective, it's such a deadening place in my opinion. But like I have a friend, she's a fashion designer. She runs a fashion incubator now, but like her work was based on she was inspired by like the public housing in Singapore and would take inspiration for that for her work. But like she's one of the few successful creative people I know in Singapore, whereas everyone else is so much more of like a services type of industry, and like the creativity is kind of taken out. Oh, there was a further. I missed the first comment. I don't see it up here unless it got blocked. Huh. The Singapore is like Disney imagined an Asian city. Yeah, there's Singapore's definitely it's got a Disney aspect to it for sure, man. It's manufactured, order, manufactured the societal bliss. It's really weird. Joe P, man, great to see you. Thanks for coming by, brother. Great shirt in that photo. How you doing? How you doing out there in Florida? Hey, Joe. So earlier, Josh was on. I don't know if he's still on because it's his birthday, so he probably bounced going to eat his bison burgers. But he was saying that Florida lifted all restrictions. Is that true? Yeah. So yeah, Disney-esque, really back to the Singapore thing, man. It really does have that Disney vibe, and I hate like Disneyland, Disney World, not someplace I would willingly pop into for sure. So, and again, like I was talking about, like I had the emergency surgery on Saturday, and like I think it cost like $63. Right? If I had to do that same thing in Singapore, I'd probably be paying American prices. I'd be broke right now, like probably like $50,000 to walk in for emergency surgery. As opposed to 63 at a private hospital with like immediate service, like a concierge at the door. So, I get like I had a friend who lived out here. This guy Chris, and he was like an on again, off again. He was like a sales guy who kind of traveled in the cybersecurity blockchain space. And he was living in Bangkok, and he had lived in Singapore previously, and he wanted to go back to Singapore. And it was I was like, why do you want to go back there, dude? He's like, oh, well, like no one takes you seriously if you live in Bangkok. I was like, I'd rather not be taken seriously. I'd rather not be taken seriously than live in Singapore. And like, but it's also not the case. It was his perception that he wasn't being taken seriously from here. And I get, again, like I think he ended up going back to the US as well, because like why would you pay so much to live in a dystopian, cyberpunk future city when you can live in Bangkok for a third the price, if that. The original comment may be worded in a way that YouTube hates, but someone fell through my roof while trying to hide out from the earth. Oh, damn. Fell through your roof. Wow. That's wild. So do you have so you don't have a flat, like a roof deck that you can go on then? Do you have like is it one of the slanted tiled roofs? Oh, so yeah, you're saying, so Joe, you're saying they did lift all restrictions, so you're still going to the gym after 1 a.m. Man, isn't Florida like one of the states really struggling with COVID? Why would you guys lift all restrictions? That's wild. Absolutely wild. Man, it is flat but no access. Oh, so you have a flat roof but no access. Okay. I always dig the places that have the flat roof that you can have the deck or like a garden on. Like that was one of the things that was in the original building that we rented. But when we ended up, it was like 3 stories plus a roof deck. There was like a little shed on the roof, but there was water up there. We could have put plants, and it had the rubberized roof and everything. But I would have personally loved to have had like a roof garden, but I'm very fortunate that we have the 2.5 meter wall outside of our place on one section, then our driveway area. And so we have a little garden inside that area, and we have some trees out front. So one of the things I love about where we are is that in our last place was like this as well. It's like being in a condo where you exit a condo into the hallway, and that's your access to the world is the hallway. You go to the elevator and then out to the world. Whereas here in like our last place as well, I walk outside into the sunlight, and there's a garden, and I have something green to look at, and it's lush, and it gives me like just a little bit of tranquility in the city. One of the things that, as much as I loved like living in a condo on Sukhumvit, like being able to like do everything in Asok, within like being at Pala within 5 minutes, the walking out into the garden and like having that little bit of tranquility, the fresh air blowing in, it makes life in the city like that just that much better. And it's already great. Like I always say, life in Bangkok's already phenomenal, but being able to come downstairs, work here, and then like be outside in the garden, walk to the market, like the neighborhood that we live in, Frank. So there's a lot of options around here. For you, more so for you, like I said, you live near all the food. Like I would be outside every 10 minutes. I'd be like, I gotta take a walk, gonna go outside. UV index only 5. I can manage. But having that little outside garden space makes such a huge difference. No direct access. There's a hatch. I've been lobbying the building owner to turn the roof into it. Man, I mean, even like just a couple pots on the roof makes a huge difference. You get a couple pots out on the roof, and you can go out there and just really enjoy like this overwhelming sense of like freshness and kind of like a different perspective on the city. Especially that's why I think Bangkok rooftop bars are so popular, because it just gives a different perspective. And if you have a garden on your roof, it's something else. Crackheads seem to have pretty good access to my roof. Man, that's never a good look. You get the crackheads up on the roof. No one wants that. You got to keep the crackheads off. But again, like you said, that's why you have razor wire now. Yeah, good question about Florida. No clue. Yeah, just again, keep your distance. Go to the gym 1 a.m. And you got that elite visa, man. So hopefully you hear March, April, May. That time frame would be great. Dude, how many crackheads in your neighborhood, Frank? Like, what's 95 like? Because it seems like it's a busy soy, but it doesn't seem like a shithole. Like, are you 95 or 95/1? Right, because one of them goes all the way through, right, and then one of them is like a shorter. The one that goes all the way through looks like it's industrial going down a little bit further, and then 95/1 seems like it's kind of like the shorter one. Do I have that right? Okay, so you're right on 95. It's pretty much just that one crackhead. So okay, 95. So the 95 is 95 the shorter one, or is it the one that turns into the more industrial road, Frank? Because like I said, I saw that one of them goes all the way through, and there seems to be a lot of trucks on that one. But no, 95 is the market one, right? So that's the one that cuts off like halfway down. like at the condo or something, at the back of the condo. It's all industrial, a lot of business here, but most people live and work here. Yeah. Also, like I know you said before that, like all the Cambodian grilled chicken places and all the food hawkers live like right on your soy, right? Okay, yeah. Yours is not a throughway. So 95/1 is the one that's a throughway, or is that 97? I always get confused. Jib says 97. I know there's also like a vocational school up there. Yeah, 97/1 has a vocational school, which apparently don't like in Thailand. Vocational school students love to fight each other and shit. So maybe you get to see some free fights over in your hood. I don't know. Now you have access just at a door. I some of the places have like a little pop out door. Yeah, 97 is the throughway. Okay. And so 97 is the one where the hotel is like, there's like a weird hotel. Not weird, it's a nice looking place, but it's like halfway down 97. Oh, babe, Joe says hi. You want to pop over and say hi to Joe? Jib's already working. She's working from home or doing school from home for the next month because of the situation. Here, Joe's in the chat. Yeah. She's just popping in saying hi. So yeah, 97 goes all the way through. 97/1 goes all the way through too, right?
To connect to us, 97/1, 97
Okay. Yeah, a lot of industrial. Even walking up the top side of 93, there's a lot of like industrial business stuff. There's actually Jib and I were walking around on the top of 93 before, and there's a 6-unit block for sale. Yeah, it connects all the way from 93 to 95. It's what, 5-story building or 4? 4. Yeah, so it's 6 units, 4 stories, 93 to 95. The problem is though on the 93 side, the entrance is like a meter lower than the street, right? So like it's got the place where you walk in or you park, and then down. No, the doorway for that first level on 93 is like a meter lower, not a meter, maybe a half meter lower. Yeah.
The 6 unit.
Yeah, you gotta
like 3 on the 93 and 3 at the 95.
The one on 95 is above the road. On 93 is below the road. You got to look at it next time we go by. So yeah, Joe, I was talking about Mike earlier. Mike is still in a lot of pain. He's got some doctor's appointments, and it's actually like I messaged him on last week. I was like, dude, because we haven't done Bangkok Strange in a while, so I don't want you guys to think that we're not coming back, but I want him to focus on just being 100%. Like, I need from Mike is a friend who's in good shape and mobile and not in constant pain. So like I was like, dude, just focus on doing what you gotta do. We'll figure Bangkok Strange out when you're good and ready. So definitely like just please focus on that. And so he understands, and he is. But like I'm pretty sure if I was like, yeah, can you still do the live stream, he would be like, oh yeah, no problem. Jim's showing me the map of the soys because oh yeah, that's the hotel, right? Romance Hotel. Yeah. But like I said, I just want Mike to get 100%. And I don't know, Joe, you missed it. I ended up having to have emergency surgery Saturday. I had an abscess in my tooth that went into my jaw. The tooth apparently was cracked, and the doctor was saying like everything in my tooth was like petrified, like a mummy. So it must have been dead for like years. And he even said he had never seen anyone in that much pain. Joe P, I would need you would need stairs. So it's just a port you like with like a little thing, little like ladder, I guess. Joe says up top.
What's that?
High five. So you can give it to Joe. Oh, Mike's here. He says, wait, is that TT porn I see in the background? Yeah, absolutely is TT porn you see in the background. How you feeling, brother? Now, I know we talked this morning. You said you were feeling better, but still in pain. And you should be on your way to your appointment, if I'm not mistaken, sir. So,
not closed.
No, he's got an appointment with a doctor. So, and then he's got a chiropractor later today.
Okay, but walk in,
yeah. So I just want to let me know how it goes. Let me know how you're feeling. And again, Mike, you need anything, just let Jib or I know. You have trouble with like translation, call Jib directly, like whatever you need, man. Like, just, we want to make sure that you're moving towards getting better. So just let us know, brother. We appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. So anything you need, man, just holler at us, please. There are improvised bridges that cut through to the other side, but if you're not on foot, my soy ends at the temple. And yeah, so actually, so that temple, right? You can actually, there's like a little, like a klong behind that with like a little improvised footbridge and stuff. Yeah, the Chinese temple. Yeah. So you can like cut through the temple. There's like a little, there's like a little alleyway. Yeah, Jim and I walked through there before, like between the fence and a house that you can kind of snake your way through. Hey, Stock, man, how you doing? Thanks for coming through, brother. How's it? We were just talking about Florida. You guys lifted all restrictions apparently, right? But you guys still have a lot of cases piling up. Is that correct? Like 50% walking to Sukhumvit now. Okay, man. Like, dude, and like I said, anything you need. If there's a translation issue, you've got Jib's line. So call Jib directly, like right away, dude. Like anything, any issue, whatever you need, bro. Let me know. And hit me up after the hospital. Let me know how you're feeling. I take it you're not going back to the Kayo above Bangkok Bagel today. There's a temple at 95. Man, temples everywhere. There's the big Chinese temple is, I guess it's, you can get to, there's another one on this side of the Klong as well, maybe on the back end of 95. Oh, so it crosses over to the other side of that Klong then? Oh. Yeah, everyone hopes you're feeling better, Mike, dude. You gotta get there, homie. But I can definitely, I feel bad because this was just for Mike, especially because this is the worst time to have pain like that, because Mike needs to see the chiropractor. It's a holiday weekend. All the clinics are closed. The hospitals are on limited staff. Even like I said, when I had to find an oral surgeon, a dental surgeon for myself on Saturday, we had to call multiple hospitals, to find a clinic. And even the first one we went to wouldn't see me right away. They're like, "Oh, you have to wait. We don't have the staff." Like Chameleon, where I normally go over in Tonglaw, their dental clinic was not staffed that day. And like even Jib was like, even like just go to Smitty Wet, like they'll at least some doctor will come in and do something, because that's their type of service. We ended up at Chow Praya Hospital, which I can't say enough good things about. And it's funny, Jib's mom was actually the first batch of nurses that worked there, and the doctor who worked on me actually knew her. He was one of the first oral surgeons there. Oh, there's a bridge. Okay, not a temple. Gotcha. There are a lot of temples, though. There's also one at the end of, I don't know if you've ever been to the one at 93, Frank. There's a night market there. I took Chris from retired working from you over there before. He was filming something, but even the market at that temple, the Friday night market on my hood, is really probably half what it used to be. Yeah, we've been wide open here for a long time. Give me liberty or give me death. We choose both. Right? Yeah. Florida is all about that choosing both, right? You guys have a hard time with that. There's a new playscape being built at 95-1. They have an improvised bridge. I recommend taking the extra block to 97 for a real bridge. You might get attacked by a rooster at the end. Yeah, it's funny, man, because I was actually at the end of 95-1 one night with my buddy Troy. He's the CEO over at Globish, and we may have drank a tad bit too much bourbon, and it was like 1 a.m, and we decided to go for a walk. And we ended up walking like all the way around like 95-1, down some footbridge. We saw all the roosters like penned up, a couple of soy dogs. We end up down on like 101/1 somehow. And so we end up turning back, walking back. And funny story, right? We get back, I'm just like soaked in sweat because one, I had a bit too much to drink. And then I sweat no matter what. It was like the middle of summer, so I was super hot. So we get back to my place. It's like 2 a.m, and he's like, I need to go home. He was giving a talk at a university at like 9 a.m. the next day. So I'm like trying to dry off. I take my shirt off. I got like a towel. I'm drying myself off. And you guys, I almost always wear my suspenders. And so I've got my suspenders and like take my shirt off, I'm drying down, and his taxi shows up, or his grab shows up like right away. And so I walk him out, and he's like, I give him a hug on the way out. He's like, I just realized, he's like, this taxi driver probably thinks I'm a prostitute that's leaving your place because it's 2 a.m. and you're just wearing suspenders and you're covered in sweat. I was like, is what it is, Troy. He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, next time you come to my house. Do you know anything about the area of the lofts in Asok? It's called the building is called Loft of the Lofts. Asok's a pretty happening area, Joe. If you want to be in the thick of it, expat life wise, definitely Asok's a great spot to be in. I lived in Asok for just over a year. It's a great spot to be in if you want quick access to everything. It's expensive, but again, well, not really. I think where we lived was expensive. It's expensive in general, so living wise, compared to Bangkok. But like if you just want to be in the thick of it, Asok's a pretty good area, but it's always busy. So you have to know like huge nightlife scene there. The Soy Cowboys right there in Asok. So there's all these things that it's going to be constantly busy. But if you want that, it's a good place. I found it a bit much living there, to be honest, which is why I now live in Bangkok. Senior Frank says the same thing. Great place for a holiday. Not sure I would live there. Yeah, and having lived there, I would not go back. You know, and like I lived right next to one of like the hottest restaurants in Bangkok, and as a result, like there'd be like Maseratis double parked on my street or like in front of my building. I couldn't walk because there's like BMWs parked on the fucking sidewalk. You know, it was in the constant stream of people, and you know, with that, even street food was expensive and like not a ton of good stuff where I lived. And it just to me, the trade-off in quality of living for access to everything wasn't worth it. Now it is. If I want to go to Pala, I'm 10 minutes away on the train, and I enjoy taking the SkyTrain. So to me, it's just a much better situation. So yeah, if you wanna live in like that area where everything's always going on and there's always nightlife, you always have to deal with drunk people if you go out at night, then Asok's for you. You want to be a little bit more chill, you know, get out to a little bit further, a couple more stops, go to Prakanong, go to Anna, Bangjak, you know, Ponyowiti, you know, like these areas where it's a little bit more neighborhood oriented and less, like you can still live in a condo out here and you'll get more bang for your buck. Or you could go out to like where the really old buildings are, like Ari, Sapanquai, and get a lot of places. Yeah. So yeah, Joe's coming in May, April. So here we go. So 2-bed for 3.11 million baht. No, that can't be right. Is that 31 million or I'm all 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, 3. Oh, yeah, 31.1 million. Yeah, that's expensive, but I mean that's probably about right for Asok.
Ask him for like what he wants and like how big and budget. I can find a place for him.
So yeah, say into the mic.
Hi Joe. So send your house requirement today now, like how many rooms or bedrooms or like space, like you like condo or you want a townhouse, and what is your budget, how long you're gonna stay in that place. Like I can Google it. Like most of like a Thai agent that will like write it in Thai, but I can find like a link and send to you if you like it, and I can make a contact for you.
Yeah, and actually, Frank writes something here that I think is perfect. It's like if you work in Asok or you're 20, it's a great area. Literally, anyone else should look a couple BTS stations away for a better value of quality of life. 1000% agree. And even like I worked in that area, I would still prefer to commute a few stops on the BTS, or you know, if you have a scooter, you can just zip down like to wherever you're going, but not worth living there in my opinion. The same thing with Nana. Like I have friends who live in Nana, and I don't know how they do that. Like, why would you live in Nana? Oh, so here we go. Fast internet, 2-bed, high floor. Yeah, what's your how much what's your budget, and like how many square meters you looking for, Joe? Like, do you need like something huge, or are you looking for something more compact and minimalist? And pretty much everywhere on Silicon Valley, you're going to be able to get fast internet, at least 500 symmetric, or now they're even offering a 1 gig / 300. So there's plenty of options for fast internet. But yeah, I mean, again, everyone's tastes are different. Some people want to live where Soy Cowboy is. Some people want to live on Soy 11. Some people want to live like in the middle of like nightlife. For me, that's not my choice. And it's not what like long-term living. Like even like I would say after the first month when we lived in Monterey, after the first month it was like going outside was pretty old, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a
closer.
It's kind of like a not nice area to live. It's good to like go there, eat, and go back home.
Yeah,
I don't like it there.
So I would say like for me, even like we lived next to El Mikado was like one of the hottest restaurants in Bangkok. We ate there only twice, and just because it's so frustrating to like deal with all the people double parking everywhere.
Double park, so cannot walk. It doesn't have like footpath. We have to walk very close to the street.
Yeah.
And when the customer like park there in front of the restaurant, or that driver park the car waiting for them to get in, like a goodbye hug take many minutes, and like I have to walk like on the street to against other car that drive through me.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like again, like this is probably I could have gone there any night of the week. We used to buy food from their shop like pretty much daily. I would stop them, but yeah, like buy cheese, buy wine, bread, whatever. But you know, as far as just like dealing with like that overall living experience, it just wasn't comfortable at all.
If like Joe gonna live long term, I can recommend like real resident area. Like Joe, if you want to live like long term, like a year, I can like find a place in resident area that not far from the train and quiet, so you can really relax and can have like a local food that gonna cost a lot, like about $1.50 a meal, something like that. Better than like just eating like a center like a soak. Is like everything expensive.
Yeah, not just that it's expensive, it's just a pain in the ass. And Steve, like you saying you thought originally you want to live in Asok, but yeah, towards Anna, Bongjak, like me and Frank live in Bongjak. Anna's got a lot of like really hip stuff going on. Prakanong is great neighborhood as well. But yeah, like I think you get out this way, man. It's so much nicer to live as opposed. Yeah, Udamsok. Like I think all the way down to Udamsok, even like Bering gets into more villages, but Udamsok, like Ponyuwiti, where Mike lives, you know, Bongjak on it's so much nice stuff and easy to live. And you know, if you again like anything past Pong Pong, I see Matt's comment. You know, even if you're in your 20s, anything after Pong Pong is better if you want to stay sane and get some quiet time. Yeah. Like I have a friend, Uncle Bobby lives in he lives right at Soy Cowboy, but like he loves that neighborhood for whatever reason. I don't get it. And like I know guys who like they want to live there because they want to be next to like that action all the time, and it just drives me mad. The foot traffic alone, like getting on the BTS at Bongjak, even at rush hour, is not that horrible, right? Getting on the BTS at Asok most times of the day is a pain in the butt.
Easy for Uncle Bob to get food and
So modern. So Joe's looking for a modern place, 100 square meter plus, 2 bedroom.
Easy.
Yeah, a lot of especially Anna has a bunch of new ones. They're building a new one here, but he's moving in March.
No,
So
new one is not big.
yeah,
To find
that's true. Old
condo.
building, yeah.
Old building has a big room.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time finding 100+ square meters in a newer building.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting like a penthouse or something. But yeah, then you'll be looking at that 30 million baht plus range for sure.
Buy?
Yeah, he wants to buy something.
Oh, he wants to buy something.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he wanted to rent.
Yeah, you want to wait, Joe? You want to buy or rent? Just to be clear. Know about 5 stations south of Aso. Right, what are you saying? I bought. There's like, yeah, you get south of Asok, you're good to go, right? Like I think you start to move in this direction. A lot going on. Yeah, Joe needs quiet. Yeah, if you need quiet time, Asok is not the neighborhood for you. Frank said I had fast internet and a 1 bed at a high floor in Bang Na with a sky bridge to the BTS Biotech Convention Center for 20,000. 2-bedroom condos around 60 square meter were 25. Yeah, actually, the that Bang Na area, like with that footbridge and everything, those condos over there are kind of nice, and that area seems like they're doing quite a bit of renovation.
Oh, they're gonna be a big shopping mall, huge mega mall.
Yeah, they're the biggest mall in Thailand's getting built over in Bang Na, so that might be a crazy area in the next.
Yeah, but
is it called the Mall of Bangkok?
I can't remember what's the mall name, but like who gonna build that? There is like who own M Quartier.
Yeah.
That's group. And combined with other groups, they're gonna build like a huge shopping mall on the land on the Bang Na corner at a junction there. So if you have condo there, it might be good. Like you can just walk from condo to there.
Might be tough to get the quiet time though if that huge mall takes off.
No, it's like if you live far from the mall, your condo is still quiet.
Yeah.
But then if you want to
True. If you're on the other side,
eat, go to the theater, just go down, walk on a sky bridge. I believe they must make like a sky walk from train station connect to the mall.
Yeah, I guess if you're on the other side, it would be good. Hey, more Nomad Productions, man. How you doing? Thanks for coming by, brother. I appreciate it. Buy or rent for the first year. So either looking to buy outright or rent for the first year.
I think try like rent it first year. From my experience, you rent it first year and see if you like it. If you like it, you ask like to buy it later or find the same building like available room for sale, something like that. Because our experience at Monterey that from also is not that good. So lucky that we didn't renew contract and it's like don't live there.
Yeah.
But like first week, wow, it's everything nice, everything new experience. But after a year, no, we move back.
Yeah, for sure. Like it was like the novelty of living in that neighborhood wears off, to me at least, after the first month. And then everything started to go wrong with the condo. Like we got rusty water, and then like remember if we would leave for like a week and we come back and the water would just be brown coming out of the pipes, and there was huge iron deposits in our pipes, and it was our internet sucked. We constantly had upload issues with the internet because we were on the top floors, and the connection was bad. I mean, just again, the older buildings, you get nicer space, you get the build quality is better, but you have to deal with the internet issues, the old pipes, electrical issues. I think we never had an elevator outage, did we?
I don't think so.
No. And so, I mean, that's always a plus. So the sky bridge will go into the mall, actually. The Coast Bang Na would be a good place to buy a long-term investment condo. Yeah. Anything in Bang Na. I think Bang Na is going to be super hot in the next coming years.
When that mall opens.
Which I'm kind of hoping means that like it skips over like on the Bangjak, Punyawati, and that we still get like a really great living quality of life like with no mall. Yeah, exactly. Like let us be normal neighborhoods and let the super malls be like kind of cap us in between. So senior, I would rent at least 6 months to get a feel for the property management, how they take care of the issues arise. Also, like, so we're in an older building in Asok, and our pool was never functional while we were there. The gym was falling apart, and the outdoor garden was essentially on like the middle floor of the building was essentially dying, where the sauna didn't work. Like none of the amenities were great. And they said they were going to renovate it like after we left, but to me, like again, like just a lot of it wears on you. And the newer buildings have nicer amenities anyway, with like nicer pools, things like that. But yeah, the management side of things is true. Even like we lived in Pachani Wet, and our complex had 3 buildings with 2 different management companies, and there were all these issues about like facilities management because of who did what. And our pool was not functional the last 2 years we lived there. Right, the pool was empty. Right, so like there was just, we could never get into the pool because, hey, babe, why don't you just pull the chair over instead of standing? pull the chair over, pull the egg chair. But yeah, I agree with Senior Frank 100%. Is you should go and find out the what you think of the building, the management. Do you like your neighbors? And then if you can find a building that you can rent and then roll into, can it go up? So there you go. So yeah, you can come closer. So yeah, if you can find a building where you can rent and then get more bang for your buck, as far as like, oh yeah, the quality of life is good, I think you'll be in a good position. And then stuck in Florida, my humble opinion, I would rent for a few months in the area you want to live and shop around. Yeah, that's the other good thing, is you could Airbnb for just a few months and then shop, see if you like the neighborhoods. And then if you do like the neighborhood, then you can start to like peruse around.
Yeah, maybe try Airbnb because it's not long lease.
Yeah. So as I said, Joe, if you need, even like we're deep in the soil, we have 1 gigabit down, 300 up. So, and it costs nothing. What is our monthly? 800?
1,000 baht.
1,000 baht for $30 US for gig down, 300 up. And it's very stable. The only internet outage I had was when my aircon leaked on my router and killed it. But yeah, anywhere on Sukhumvit, you will be able to get fast internet. AIS Fibre.
It depends. Like maybe it depends on the condo that you live in, because they might have the contract to just like a one company, which is, I don't know which one that can offer like a high speed or not. You have to check that.
You don't want to be stuck in a building where you have a contract locked in with TOT.
Because remember, like Pachani Wet that we live there, like they have a contract with the AIS. Only AIS can come to install router for you in your room.
Yeah, light does go slower uphill. You didn't know that, Born Nomad? No, so we didn't. When I lived on the top 2 floors, we didn't have fiber. So it was an old copper run up to the building. This is an older building built in the 90s. Yeah, whereas now
13 years old that time.
So it was built in the 2000s.
15,
okay.
Maybe 1998.
So yeah, I would say that a newer building, you're going to have fiber right at least to your floor. And as long as there's no kinks in the fiber, you should be good. But the older buildings are going to have the copper runs. Most of those have not been redone with light, with glass. So you definitely want to make sure that you've got a decent building with internet, if that's your number one priority. And like Jib said, make sure that you're not locked into a building where there's only one option. Like, so AIS Fibre, the way they spell it with the British spelling, AIS Fibre, for all the Americans. It's pretty good service. We had that at Pachani Wet. It was decent, not super fast though, but stable. We have, is that True now that does our fiber? True Fiber. True. And so super stable, hardly ever, like I said, the only outage is when my aircon leaked on my router and killed it. So, no problems with that, and great speeds. And I speed test probably twice a week because I'm weird about it. And great service overall. TOT is traditionally horrible service. What? Oh, I'll get to it. 250 up for a month for 250 up. That's 250 symmetrical though.
So what?
So I'll get to.
So you have higher speed? Or?
Yeah, so we have 1,000 down, 300 up.
I don't know.
So
I don't speak computer.
Yeah, so he's paying 400 for 250 symmetrical, which is a good deal. So yeah. So Dan, it probably was 59 going. It's probably 59 with a couple of actives in the line, right? Running up to the 20. What were we on? 24, 25,
what?
25, 26.
What is that?
The condo at Monterey.
24, 25.
24, 25. So the 24th, 25th, 24th floor essentially is where the router was, and so there's probably a couple actives running all the way up there. 59 strung all the way through. Hey, y'all, the average internet speed in America is 35 megabit. Oh my God. Well, I guess that, so hate the player, hate the game. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, no, that probably has a lot to do with rural America, right? Like all those towns out in the middle of nowhere that have, hobunk speed of like 5 megabits a second, or they can only do like RF internet out to the farm. Oh, ADSL, man. ADSL is even worse than coax. At least with coax, you get like you get better bandwidth. DOCSIS, I think, is a better protocol than ADSL, but also you don't have the loop restraints that you do with ADSL. But it does not age well at all. Frank says I was going to upgrade, but I always forget when I walk by the shoe shop and we're at the mall. Yeah, so our upgrade. They're constantly calling Jib. And we used to have 1,000 by 2, so it was 1,000 up to 1,000 down, 2 up, and so we're gigabit by 200. And they called like maybe a few months ago, and they're like, "Hey, we'd like to offer you 500. Well, no, it was 500. No, it was 1,000. No, sorry, we had 300 symmetrical, right? And then they offered us. They wanted to go to 500 down, but drop us down to 200 up. And we said no, because we want the upload speed. And they're like, okay, we don't have anything then. Like literally like 2 days later, they call. Oh no, like a week later, our router died. So Jib called and they're like, hey, we can offer you 1,000 down, 500 or 300 up. And she's like, okay, boom, do it. And even like I generally outperform my upload speeds internally to the True network. I'll do like 600 up. If you upgrade, if there's a good deal, it's definitely worth upgrading, especially if you can lock it in. It looks like sometime in July, I have my grandson full time now. Oh, did he bring the drum kit over with him, Joe? Do you have the drum kit full time as well, or just the grandson full time? That's the important question. Yeah, Dan, no joke, man. Big time loss on the RJ59. RJ50. I remember. So I'm sure you remember like the the 11 that you would run out and you'd have like the underground stuff. And when I was a field tech originally, like running the long ash drops, stringing it out. Man, good old days. Ladder climbing, bucket trucks, all the good stuff. Fun working. Dan and I, Cable Cutter TV is my friend Dan. He used to work. He was an engineer when I was a technician. And I used to interface with him a lot, especially when I was supporting the mobile build project, doing all the Metro E build outs. Yeah, so I think like if internet stability is the biggest thing for you, Joe, then you got to get at least into a newer building with glass. And if the problem is the size you want, the 100 square meters plus, is going to make it sort of challenging to find that size. Because a lot of the newer, more modern buildings, they make it small. Yeah, like 65 square meters might be like the maximum you're going to find. And a lot of them aren't even building penthouse units. So it's just smaller units all the way up. If you really want that size, you might end up having to go for like a 3-bedroom to get you into like the 75 to like 80 square meter range. But I think I would look at the sizes and decide, man, because I can't judge what's good for you versus like me. But if you want condo, you want service, and you want modern with high speed internet, you're probably
looking for.
Yeah, what's that?
I keep looking for it.
Jib will take a look and give you some suggestions. But I would suggest looking south of Asok for sure, like Prakanong, Anna, Bangjak, Punyuwati, like these areas. I think you'll find a little bit more livable. Like everyone on here has said, Mojo, Mike, Frank, everyone, Steve, like you don't want to be living in Asok full time.
It might be like good for just like short time vacation.
Yeah. So Joe says he's okay with that. Oh, and different grandson, so no drum set. Joe knew he was gonna have his grandkid full time, so he didn't put him in. Didn't get that one, the drum set.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah.
Kid.
Yeah, I think 65 for a 2-bedroom feels small to me because our 1-bedroom at Pachani Wet was 61. So that was a very comfortable space. So for a 2-bedroom, like maybe like 80. Do you think there's a newer building though is not going to have 100, right?
Maybe 80.
Yeah, 80. Oh, so I hate the game saying no. Even states like New Jersey, which has the most coverage, has an average speed of 53. Oh man. The only thing RG59 is good for these days is hanging your laundry. Yeah, damn right, right? RG59 is no use being out in the real world. It's a RG59 is coax, like really thin junk coax cable. It's like the coax they used to use back in like the 60s. It's like really thin, high loss. And so here's the thing, right? The skin effect, the higher the frequency you have, the more loss. And so you have a small conductor with a small dielectric, tons of loss. And then so RG11 is the standard, but I believe it's RG7 is the big sort of the step below what would be called 500 hardline. The RG7 is what you would run long drops for. And I remember when I was first a technician in Rhode Island, I worked in this town that a lot of people lived like way off, and I was running a replacement drop at a farm, and I had to run the RG7, and we actually had to do a plant redesign because I was running it across the street, so pole to pole across the street, and then 100 meters to the house, which I was already way past spec. And then I had to add an in-house amplifier on the drop just to get the signal high enough to use and give them enough power to return.
Is it far away, like a middle of nowhere?
Yeah, middle of nowhere. Well, in Rhode Island, nothing's really the middle of nowhere. But it's so sad that New Jersey is 53 megabits per second average. That's horrible. Yeah, the senior Frank, or get a shop house in Bangjak or Udom Sok. But I think Frank, I think Joe probably wants the services that come with a condo, right? The pool, the gym, the concierge, all of that. Yeah, don't buy a car, right? You can rent a car. There's no reason to own a car in Thailand. They're expensive, and you can just rent a car if you need it, or you can take Grab everywhere. Like I really would not buy a car. But yeah, the if you're gonna drive and you want to live in one of the Bang Na like villages, or where does Dave live? New York, Dave.
Sinakarin.
Yeah, Sinakarin is all these neighborhoods.
Nice,
oh yeah,
nice
he communes in Sinakarin. Yeah,
nice village. With like a security 24/7.
Yeah.
So like the Bang Na and Sinakarin area that Frank said, it's like nice village with like security in the front of a village, and they have like a manager for every village. So I think it's nice if you want to stay like quiet but live in the village. You might have like get like a Grab or have a car, something.
Yeah, I definitely would not. I would definitely not recommend getting a car though if you don't have to. Like I know people who they move here and they buy a car, and I just think they're crazy because it just changes. It makes your lifestyle so much more complicated, in my opinion, to drive.
It's about Thai driving behavior.
That too, but I mean not just that, but it's like to drive places, to have to park somewhere. Like Jim's brother drives, and he drives to work every day like 2 hours, like with traffic. So yeah, Prampong Tonglo is okay. Yeah, nice neighborhoods. A lot of newer buildings. Yeah, so check those out as well, man. Yeah,
is a lot of condos.
Yeah, a lot of really nice condos too.
So if you live in Prampong, easy to go to Emportia in the Emporium.
Yeah.
So Joe, if you get a condo at a Prampong, it might be like a shuttle car service drop you at a shopping mall or BTS.
Yeah. And actually, you get whatever you can get whatever internet you want. It depends. Yeah, if you have a shop house for sure. No restrictions as long as they service your soy. RJ6. All right. Thank you, Dan. It's been a while. All I remember is they all have the 7/16 connector. Yeah, and Joe, Frank brings up a great point. Tonglo, Prompong are better than Asok, but they're still pretty busy. Especially Tonglo is a really hip area, a lot of nightlife there, so it's always going to be packed. But both of those have really good walkability. But yeah, definitely Prompong probably is one of the premium locations cost wise.
For Thong Lo, it's not easy to cross the road. Just to go like the right side to the left side,
Yeah.
You have to wait like long before any car will stop for you, because all of people there, the rich, they drive like supercar. They don't care about you. They don't stop at the crossway. Yeah. They don't stop.
If you're gonna be hit though, you might as well get hit by a Maserati. Yeah. I mean, yeah. $145 a month for internet. Damn. Huh? So 4,000. No. Yeah, 4,500 baht for internet every month. Huh? See Jim's face.
Why is so expensive? It's so expensive. Are you sure it's a price in dollar?
Yeah. So actually, when I worked in telecom, I never paid for internet. But the biggest thing people would always complain about is why am I paying so much money for internet or for cable? Yeah. Jib just confirmed the price. Yeah. So Joe, no car, just a bike. You know what bike you're gonna get, Joe? Have you thought about like what you want to drive, bike wise? We're looking at so Frank says we're looking at Bang Na and Sanakarin. It was clear that we would need a car because it just isn't walkable. Decided against the car and Bangjak. Yeah, for sure, man. The same thing. Like I have zero desire to drive a car. When I left America, like I lived in Cleveland. Cleveland is a city where you need to have a car. You need to drive. It's just not for me. I don't want to be about that life anymore. And I don't mind my scooter. I don't mind, taking Grab everywhere. And there's no need to absorb the cost of insurance, of maintenance, of fuel. For me anyway. Like I just don't need that. Like one of my neighbors, he drives to work. He only lives in the house next to us part-time. Great neighbor though. Other than the fact that he just fell off 3 stairs and somehow broke his arm and like messed his leg up. Like literally he fell like a meter. Not even less than a meter onto his driveway, which is finished tile. But that's beside the point. Like he probably put his arm out like this to break his fall or something. But like this. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think he put his arm straight out and broke. But here's the thing. Like he drives literally to Prompong. It probably takes him an hour to drive because he's got to cross Unnut, and there's no way to do that without either going down to what is that the road down that goes to Lakambang.
Why you go to Lakambang?
No, that road. It's that road.
On Nut, yeah.
The road at the bottom of Unnut. So you either have to go to Sukhumvit or the other road to get over to Prompong. So that's why it takes him so long.
Why you go to Prompong?
So that's where he works. Not Prompong, Prakanong, just 2 stops away. Yeah. So yeah, 1,000. Yeah, gig symmetrical 145 US prices. That's not bad. Here you might end up paying 2,000 baht a month for a symmetric, 2,500 a month for a symmetric connection. Oh, you're getting the Road King. Nice. Hilux to the house. Although seriously though, we just got HFC here with an amp on the pole at the end of my driveway. 100 plus 100 is slow as they will do in here. Go figure. 100 plus 100 is still pretty slow. I mean, it's not bad, but I think the HFC model was great because if you guys know, HFC's hybrid fiber coax. It's what cable companies do. It's basically fiber to the node, right, which is a neighborhood device, and then it rolls out. It rolls out coax after that with inline amplifiers and stuff. But it's a great design for scalability, but speeds got so fast, so quick for internet in America or in general that HFC couldn't keep up, and cable companies were reluctant to invest infrastructure money because they want to get as much ROI as possible out of copper, which is why they're like, oh yeah, just resplice that 500 or put an extension on that 500 and keep it going. And you'll see, like, if you ever worked on infrastructure and telecom, you'll see all this mismatch stuff together. And I know Dan Cable Cutters, he saw it as well, but they did some stupid stuff, like really dumb technologies. Like at one point they were talking about doing like an inversion of like a inverted RF spectrum on the copper. And I remember when the sales engineer was at the office and we were doing the test run, we were doing all the installs overnight, and he was trying to explain it mathematically. I was like, that's not how attenuation works, dude. And he's like, you just don't understand. He's like, just splice the equipment in. And so I went and corrected all of his equations to show that the attenuation was wrong. And my manager got so pissed. They were like, well, you can't, like, don't do that to the sales engineers. Like, he knows what he's talking about. You don't. I was like, math is math. If you know it's wrong, it's wrong. He's lying to you. But the unfortunate part was, like, my supervisor and manager were both idiots. They didn't understand anything. Probably didn't even understand algebra, let alone like logarithmic functions. You should show Jib summertime electric bill from Texas. I should not show Jib. So, Frank, what's your electric out where you're at with your shop house? Because we have an older AC, and like obviously right now we're not running aircon because it's so nice out. But like May, April, we could be 10,000 a month, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 10,000 baht a month, but probably usually under that. Oh, the Africa Twin, man, that's a great bike. Especially if you plan to get out to. If you want to take trips out to like Nakhon Nayok or like all the provinces just outside Bangkok, man, that Africa Twin is a beautiful bike. I don't know. I don't think they have the 1000cc model out here though. I think it's a smaller motor, but great bike. I rode one when they first came out here. Super comfortable to ride. A bit high though for city riding. So a summertime Texas electric bill with American Electric and running summer electric all summer every day for aircon. Yeah, it could be like maybe a $500-600 US, 15 to 20,000 baht.
Oh, I thought electric is cheap in America.
No, Jib thought electrical was cheap in America. No. For less than what I'm paying in Bangkok, we could have had a mini mansion on a street where you would have clearly been the lowest class neighbors, but it was just too much drive. Yeah, no, like for sure, right? You can rent in Sinakaran, like all these places. You can get a beautiful house, like super cheap. I have a friend who lives out in like Makassar, and they have like mansions out there that you can rent for like $1,000 a month, or Hoi Mak. He lives in Hoi Mak, but do you want to live out in the middle of nowhere? It makes no sense. Probably no crackheads falling through the roof out there either. Yeah, probably not. Not so many crackheads. Also, his electrical is 3,000 to 5,000. See, it's our old ass aircon that kills us.
Because this one run for 2 units.
Yeah, so we have a huge industrial aircon for the downstairs.
Always run and all the monitor.
Yeah, all the monitors, all the computer. Well, it's not always running. I put it in sleep at night, which basically brings it down to
daytime, like 8 hours.
Yeah, we're definitely running a lot of stuff all day, plus all the sewing machines. But all of our machines except one is a servo machine, which is like 90% more efficient than a clutch motor.
Yeah, but we didn't use it all the time.
Yeah. Probably like we use the bar tack for like, if we use the bar tack for like 40 minutes to bar tack a bunch of stuff, that's probably more electric than the rest of the machines use like for the year.
Yeah.
So like the machine, our bar tack is our only clutch motor machine because of the way it functions. We can't swap it. And in that machine, like the clutch motors are just constantly at full draw. So they're constantly spinning full speed. It's very, very expensive to run compared to our servo machines. Like I could turn on, I'm right next to a machine right now. If I turn this on, you wouldn't know it's running unless I hit the pedal. But this machine is quite loud, which I love. This overlock. It's quite nice. So you have a new aircon, right? So the new aircons are nice. Our condenser has died a few times, and I keep hoping the owner will swap out the condenser and the blower, and they just keep coming and repairing it because it's clearly because of the size of the unit, it's an expensive unit to run. But since we put the 2 fans in, it's pretty comfortable. So the first 6 months will be in Pattaya for D school and combat group Pattaya to learn Muay Thai, Krav Maga. Nice, man. Nice. So 6 months doing Muay Thai and Krav Maga in Pattaya. Personally, I'm not a Pattaya fan, but I mean, for what you're going to be doing, that sounds pretty awesome. Plus, a lot of great fights go on in Pattaya. Like every weekend, there's fights.
Go to Q23.
Yeah. This Q23 is not in Pattaya. It's in
No,
Bangkok.
I mean, like in Bangkok.
Yeah, if you want to do jujitsu, but he's doing Krav Maga, which is like Israeli like street defense and Muay Thai. You'll probably find that Muay Thai will beat the shit out of Krav Maga any day. Like, because Muay Thai just makes you a tough motherfucker. My apartment in Bristol was $600 a month for electric. God damn, just for an apartment for electric. That's your summer electric in Bristol, I guess, though, Dan, right?
600.
US for just as one apartment.
Hoy.
Yeah, right. The M1 Mac Mini will. Well, my computer I'm running now is just my MacBook Pro, right? It's a 13-inch MacBook Pro, but definitely will still. I got the 13-inch ultra wide monitor already set up for the editing. It's so slick. I got a 27-inch for the other one. We picked them up the other day thinking that malls were going to lock down. It's funny. I picked them. Where we go Friday, picked it up.
Friday.
And then that night I got the abscess and had to go for surgery the next day. And so I've only get to use them a bit. But yeah, the 34-inch ultra wide's nice. Mac Mini should arrive this week, right? Is what the notice said. Tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Very excited. But I still don't have my dock. So I didn't get my my SATA drive yet. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Mac Mini, especially from like the edit perspective, and everything looks so good on the 34-inch ultra wide and the way you can split it and all that. Air conditioner is surprisingly cheap. It may be worth the savings over the years of your lease to just buy a new unit ourselves. Yeah, having it installed, then switch it back when you move out. Yeah, it could.
Good idea. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's this massive blower is I think what kills us. But yeah, they are cheap. We could probably get one installed for like less than $30K.
Yeah, maybe because we have long lease for this time.
Yeah.
Because like for first year, like I don't know if we stay here longer or move, but as we have like 3 years contract, maybe we to change it.
Actually, our worst neighbors just moved out too, so hopefully we get like someone. Jib used to call them the monkeys that live across the street because they're a bunch of like construction worker guys that lived in this house together.
Drunk, fight.
Yeah, they smashed up our
trash.
Yeah, smashed up our garbage bin one night, and I was about to go kill some people, and Jib was like, "Just stop." But yeah, they would get drunk and blast music, and like occasionally when they weren't always here. Yeah, and like park. So they used to park right in front of our place, and that's why we put the trees out in front so they wouldn't be able to park. I remember they drove the truck down the soil the first day we got the trees, and they were like, But yeah, so we put the tree line in front. Yeah, so you're right, Frank. It may very much be worth it to do that, especially since I had actually planned to work like May and April from. Here's our trees. We put the trees in front of the house so no one can park. But I had actually planned to work May and April from AISDC. But I thought the situation would definitely be better by then, but obviously that's not a safe bet anymore. So I very much could be, working from home in the hottest months again, which would, definitely make it worth it to have a more efficient one. Oh, your Mac Mini is already in Bangkok, but delivers on Wednesday. The dock is in customs. Yeah, my dock didn't ship yet, as far as I saw. I'll have to check. I don't think I checked it since last week. And then once the dock gets here, I'll go and get the drive. Because there's only like when we're at JIB, Jib doesn't own JIB Electronics, by the way, but when we were there, they said there's only a 7-day return window, so I didn't want to buy the 2.5 SATA drive and then not be able to return it if anything went bad. I mean, I've never had a drive bad out of the box, but why risk it, right? To get I think it's like a 5,000 baht for a 2 terabyte drive, so
Frank will get the same way as us.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We'll see. His dock is in customs. I'll be interested to see what I think I paid $59 US for the dock. So I'll be interested to see what they fuck me with on customs for the dock. Be interesting. Well, actually, I'm wondering if they're going to charge customs on the Mac Mini because
They already include everything because we order from Thailand.
yeah,
shop.
sure, we order from the Thai shop, so it should be included. But you know, it's weird sometimes. Like I've had things shipped from Amazon or like the GoPro where I prepaid for the customs and the GoPro came right through, no problem. Whereas other things I've ordered where it comes through and then it's like you get banged. But like so, last time I ordered supplements, I paid. I think I had to pay like 500 baht on my supplements on customs, and this time it came and no cost on customs. And it was a bigger order.
I don't know. It depends on the
Yeah.
shop deal.
Yeah. Which it was the same company though.
Ow.
Oh, you ordered a 2 terabyte. What'd you get? What brand did you get for the drive, Frank? I'm thinking about doing the Seagate 2 terabyte SATA. I saw Western Digital had a good deal too at JIB. I mean, it might make sense for me to just it might make sense to just order something online because JIB said they could order online and then just put the notes and they'll deliver the business receipt. It could make sense. But yeah, definitely. I think I'll do that instead of having to go back out. I'll just order the drive from JIB. Yeah. What was your brand? No, Apple covers the. Oh, so Apple covers. So he says Apple covers the customs. All right, that's good.
Right.
I would hate to get a 43,000 baht Mac Mini and then be like, hey, you need to pay another 8,000 in customs taxes. You motherfucker. Yeah, now they have the operation here. Okay, the technician is importer, not you. Nice. Yeah, it's true, right? Because now it's weird because you can't order. At least when I bought the Mac Mini, you couldn't go into the shop and order it. And they were like, oh, you have to go online and then you have to figure out the business receipt. Nice. Oh, you got the Samsung drive. What was that, like 6,000 baht for the Samsung drive? Yeah, it's a bunch of different. Did you order from JIB or did you get Lazada? What'd you do? Oh, crucial. Nice. Yeah, I'll check when I finish the live stream today. I'll check what that's going to be for what the dock, if it's shipped already, if it's in customs. It'll be interesting. I'm excited to get the whole setup going though, and just really start working on it because I'm just blown away by like what the speeds are going to be. I'm really psyched about that overall. Very, very interesting. Jib's like, yeah, whatever. Just get to work. Now Jib and I sit across from each other at our desk, so now Jib can't actually see me on the other side because of the 34-inch monitor, so we have to like look under. The stuff you sent me is in Jamaica. Really? In Jamaica?
Why is good at?
I don't know. That's interesting. Did you ship it USPS or DHL, FedEx? How'd you send it, Joe? But drug smuggler, that you have some mule smuggling it in. Jamaica just seems like a weird route. Right? I don't know. Like, is it gonna like did it have to like get wrapped in plastic balloons and put up some guy's butt? I'm not sure. How's this coming? Yeah, is that a shipping like location? Is that a shipping route? USPS. Wow. So I think you guys know the story with my GoPro 8 that's still in Mexico with Maganj. My buddy Josh, Suburban Beard, this is when they were offering the deal on the GoPro 8. Josh went out and got the GoPro said, if you trade in any camera, we'll give you $150 discount. So Josh is like, I got you a camera for like $1 on eBay. It doesn't work, doesn't matter. GoPro will take it. So I order it and he ships the camera back for me. And he gets the GoPro. The plan was he was going to come to Thailand, and like the timing didn't work out, which was probably lucky because when he was supposed to come is when Thailand actually closed all flights. So he ships it. My buddy Eric, Minority Nomad's brother, was coming from Florida. Josh ships it USPS from Cleveland to Florida to the military base. USPS stops updating the shipping and it takes like 15 days to get from Cleveland to Florida, USPS priority. Now, Eric's brother is in the airport in Atlanta waiting for his connection, and he gets the notification from, I forget what they call it, like Ring or whatever, where you can like the delivery person can open the door and put it inside. So he's getting ready to board his flight into Asia. I think he was flying Atlanta to Singapore or something, or Atlanta to Tokyo. And they ring his bell to drop off the fucking GoPro the day he left. Like he was already like a flight in, and the GoPro makes it. The UPS just screwed it. So now he shipped at the time when he went back. Greg was back from Chiang Mai and he was in Arizona. So Eric's brother shipped the camera to Greg in Arizona. Then Greg was waiting to come back to Thailand. He couldn't get the visa, went to Mexico in the time being. So now that's this GoPro 8 is like traveling around the world. I already have the GoPro 9. The GoPro 8 will be like my B or C camera when it gets here. It's just kind of funny. So I said I was going to get the Samsung, but then I got the Crucial. I ordered it on Lazada. They have a good return policy if you order from Lazada. Yeah, actually, Lazada is probably the best return policy in Thailand. If you order from a Lazada dealer, you can return basically anything for, I think, 12 days or 14 days. Joe says if you like the sugar daddies, he'll send more. It's like that sugary candy. It's like a toffee. It's not a sugar daddy. It's like the candy sugar daddy. But yeah, the overall, the overall USPS experience just with the GoPro is bad. And so like now that's why this GoPro is like going around the world. It's funny because like Josh shipped it. He's like, here's your tracking number. I'm like, dude, it's not updating. It didn't update for days and days. Then it updated that it was still in Cleveland. I'm like, oh, we're from Cleveland to Pennsylvania. I'm like, what's going on, Josh? He's like, dude, I've never seen this before. And Josh ships stuff probably 4 days a week. He's shipping with USPS. So he sees USPS shipping more than I ever have. He's like, I've never seen this. And literally like the worst possible scenario to get the GoPro 8. But again, I end up with the 9. So, way better camera. And the 8 will be, I'll probably put a mount on the motorcycle for the 8 or something like that, where I can just use that for other stuff. And I won't even buy the media mod for the 8. Which is crazy because I almost bought the media mod when I bought the camera with Josh, but there was no discount on it. So I was like, I'll just wait and buy the media mod when it comes out in Thailand.
You put on your shoulder when you walk on the street.
Yeah.
People will see.
Yeah, the shoulder mount. Yeah. Or head mount.
And you will see like if Dana like mount the camera to his shoulder and walk around, you will see how she did the street here. Yeah. Like some part, like a motorcycle just ride on the footpath.
Yeah.
So you have to move for them to ride, not there, go down right on the street. So if you walk around Bangkok, you have to beware yourself.
Actually, so when we lived in Prachani Wet, there was we had a very nice footpath. Actually, you could walk all the way from Wipavadi, which was the main road, up to Arsoy on a footpath, no problem. It was pretty smooth for the most part. A couple spots with trees that was all jagged, but there was a bridge that had a very narrow footpath going over it, over the Klong. Or I guess that's technically a river, not a Klong, right? It's a Klong. It's Klong, all right. Yeah. And so every now and then you would get a motorcycle that would ride up on the footpath of the bridge to try to get around traffic. And I was with Jim. Was I with you that day? No, it was the day I made the guy jump off the curb. So the curb on this bridge was like 1.5 feet, like 18 inches. And this guy on like a little scoopy eye comes directly into me on the footpath with his scooter trying to get by me. And so I'm wide enough where like Jiv's small, she could like just move to the side, they could get by, but I'm wide enough where I can block the entire footpath. And so this guy's driving up and he's right there on top of me. And I'm just standing there. I'm like, all right, what are we going to do here? Like, I'm really just sick of these guys driving by and me having to jump off into traffic or whatever for him to get by. So I just waited and he's staring at me and I was staring at him and I just kind of point to the road for him to go off. And I stood there long enough. It only took about 30 seconds. This guy actually tries to ride his little scoopy eye, which is like this little step through scooter, off the curb. And you just hear like as he crashes off onto the road. He's like swearing at me in Thai. He's like, oh, I hear. And And so I just look at him, and he just keeps driving. And I told you when I got home, you're like, you can do that because you're a big white dude.
Yeah.
She's like, if I try to do that, they're just gonna run me off and push me into the water or push me into traffic.
Gonna just slap me, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you live here, you want to do like Dana, you have to be big enough or good enough to like to fight, you know. Cannot be just like even you right, but shit might happen to you.
Yeah, even my friend Kelly, she was out walking her dog. She lived in Jeanwatana.
Oh.
And like some guy like rode up on his scooter and slapped her on the ass, some Thai guy. And she was like, what the fuck? What's going on? Why would you do that? Like just sexually assault her.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's a little bit of the culture, I guess. Like certain parts of Jeanwatana is kind of rural too, like where
Not
she
really.
lived. Well,
It's not Sukhumvit, but not.
yeah, it's not
rural.
Sukhumvit, but it's not. It's also not Pachani wet,
Mm.
right? So it is kind of out there. But to me, you know, the whole scooter thing, the riding on the footpath bothers me. But there's the footpath for walking, right? Where we do have it, you should use it. And actually, the one up on Sukhumvit where we live is actually quite nice because you can walk. It's very easy to walk all the way to Unnut. And what's the name of that little community mall in Unnut?
อ่อนนุชเหรอ Habito ไหม
No, the one with the Turkish shop.
The field.
The field, yeah.
It's on the main road.
Yeah, there's a really great mall there, and they have this little Turkish shop. He makes like all different types of food. He used to live in America. However, I think the guy's wife might be like 12.
No. No, she's like younger than me, but not that young.
She's definitely in her 20s or something. She looks really young. Oh, Joe, thanks, man. Yeah, please give a thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it. And I mentioned it earlier, but if you guys check it out, there's a link in the description. A lot of people ask how they can support the channel, and so I set up one of the Buy Me a Coffee pages, similar to Mike's Buy Me a Smoothie. Links in the description. You know, if you guys want to support the channel anyway, feel free. If not, no big deal. I'm going to keep making content a few times a week. I'm more worried about soy dog packs than guys on scooters. So Steve, I had that same worry when I first got here. Luckily, no guy on a scooter has ever grabbed my ass. Luckily or unfortunately, I don't know. Not sure, but when I lived in Patumtani, when I was at Thammasat, soy dog packs were definitely a real thing. Yeah, aggressive, and they would like literally like come after you. And actually, I had to kill a dog one time because it just wouldn't stop chasing me and like trying to get at me. And like the security guard at the apartment complex we were at was like freaked out. But the dog was literally like chasing me while I was out exercising, like actively trying to bite me. Damn, Joe, man. I mentioned it, Joe. Thank you so much for Joe just bought me a coffee. Thank you, dude.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. But yeah, so Steve, in Bangkok though, I've never had an issue with soy dogs. Maybe where your parents' place is, Jib, in Pinklau. But as far as Steve, like soy dogs here in Bangkok, I don't really think it's an issue. Most of them are pretty pretty calm. Oh, real quick, Jib wants to talk about the soy dogs, but before I do, again, Joe, thank you so much, brother. Very appreciated. And guys, Suburban Beard's here. Today's his birthday for a couple more hours. So Josh, man, happy birthday, brother.
Okay, about a soy dog here. Like in Bangkok, it's not really like gonna attack you because like they will see lots of people every day. Some will feed them, so they just might follow you and like bark you sometime. But if you just walk straight, don't look at their eyes.
Yeah.
Don't make eye contact. Just walk, and like it might bark and follow you. Just they're gonna stop at some point.
Yeah.
But I never get bite.
No.
I've
never even had a dog be aggressive out here. Born Nomad Productions, thanks, brother. Yeah, good night, Dan. Thank you for coming by, dude. I'll talk to you on Facebook this week, I'm sure. So And Joe, again, man, thank you so much, brother. Big appreciation. Hate the player, hates the game. Do we have a rabies problem out here? It's a yes, at times. Was it last year or the year before?
Oh, not 2020. I mean
2018, actually.
19. I think it's like kind of every year thing. Like in the summer, they will announce like, oh, this area has a rabies problem. So I went to Thai Red Cross and get a vaccine. Yeah, it's just 3 shots.
Yeah.
Like 1 month at a time, I think. And it's pretty cheap. So if you're a foreigner, you here, you just go there, maybe bring your passport with you and ask for a rabies vaccine. I think they're not gonna charge you like double price. They might be same price as Thai.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, like Jib said, the dogs here, there are people who generally in Bangkok, at least in the Sukhumvit area of Bangkok, there are people who feed the dogs, that take care of the dogs. A lot of the soy dogs, obviously they're not in great health, but they're well fed. And some of the soy dogs you see, like people clean them, they take care of them.
They're not gonna clean, but it's just.
I've seen people cleaning one of the soy dogs that lives up on 17.
Okay, maybe that's not soy dog, that's their dog, but they just let it run around.
Well, it's the dog that lays in front of 7-Eleven.
Maybe it's their dog.
Yeah.
So the thing here is like some will take care like a soy dog as their own, like a feed or clean. But when the dog bite you and you go to that person and say, hey, your dog bite me, they will say, oh no, it's not my dog, it's a soy dog. That's it. Like no one gonna pay for your like medical fee or what, like that type. No. But they're not gonna say, oh, that's my dog. But when you beat the dog, like before the dog bite you, you beat it, that person will jump out like, why you beat my dog?
Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, and real quick, Steve, man, thank you for the coffee. Another coffee support, guys. I appreciate the support. I love all you guys. But with the soy dogs, the rabies issues, when it was 2018 or 2019,
I think almost every year we have that.
They put a heat map out, but I think one of the years, it was the only years that it really got to Bangkok. And then there's a foundation here in Thailand called the Soy Dog Foundation, run by a guy. There's a couple. There's Watchdog, but there's Soy Dog as well. Okay. And they go out and they pick up dogs off the street, take care of them. They neuter a bunch of dogs. That's another issue here. People don't neuter or spay their pets. For whatever reason, they're not into that. And so we get a bunch of people. We get a bunch of people who actually end up having puppies and just letting them loose on the street. Oh, so you have soy. Yeah, we have soy cats here too.
Yeah,
we have a couple. Actually, whenever there's a soy cat around, Jib keeps cat food in the kitchen. So we have like a little Tupperware container with cat food. So if there's a soy cat, Jib will like lure it into the garden area and like put out some cat food for it and feed it and and like spend like an hour petting the cat and then it will want to leave. Also, yeah, Frank said the soy dogs in the temples are well fed, generally pretty calm. The neighborhood further out with temples, they can get to be scary. Yeah, so even where I'm at, Frank, like I'm deep, you're deep. There's definitely a lot more dogs here than say on Sukhumvit, like just in concentration. But the dogs here are pretty calm. I was even one night when I was with Troy, we were crossing one of the footbridges that goes over the Klong. And there was a pack of dogs and they were just chilling out. Like, and actually I've seen like some people give the dogs alcohol. They pour Lao Khao out for them and stuff. So like I've seen drunk soy dogs that can't even walk. But yeah, like people will like, I've seen people buy food from the street food vendor just to give the dog like a piece of chicken.
Like
so
chicken,
yeah.
Pork.
So they're well fed. They're well taken care. They're well fed. I don't know that they're well taken care of. A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them they don't have vaccines. They don't look like they have, they don't obviously get worm medication.
Like they're not going to be like hungry and
not going to be hungry and aggressive. Oh, yeah, Patrick. I had no idea you had a YouTube channel. I started watching the older videos. Great stuff. Hey, Patrick, man, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you hanging and checking out the older content. Definitely, leave a comment on some of the older videos. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear. There's a YouTube of 4 vicious dogs forcing a poor guy into a busy street. Really? Was that, Steve, was that in Bangkok or I mean, I can't imagine that was in the main part of the city. Yeah. And when was it from? Like, I've been to like rural parts of Thailand, like Ubon Ratchathani. The soy dogs are vicious, right? Pathum Thani, where I first lived when I got here, Jim and I lived there together for a while. Vicious soy dogs for sure. Yeah, but as far as like Bangkok, like I've never even like, especially Asok, like all the dogs are so well fed and taken care of. They're pretty docile. I would definitely, I don't see that being a Bangkok thing. I would imagine it was probably outside the city or Pathum Thani in Isan, northern Thailand, southern Thailand. Southern Thailand, I've heard the street dogs are pretty bad. Even when I was in Hat Yai to give a talk, the street dogs at the market were fairly aggressive towards each other. I didn't see the street dogs be aggressive towards people, but if they're aggressive towards other dogs around them, it means that they're really territorial and there's issues. Steel toe boots fixes the dog. It's a boot with a hard construction with a hard steel toe. Construction workers in Thailand wear flip flops, so Jib doesn't know the concept. But again, you don't want to be wearing boots in Bangkok, Joe. I mean, unless you have to. So Josh, we say my uncle used to do that in Hawaii. Cats were out of control, so they started tagging, spay and neutering them. Yeah, man. I think like that's the best way to do it. Like, I think Thailand needs to be more. Personally, I think Thailand needs to be more aggressive with animal control for sure, as far as dogs and cats. But if they spayed and neuter them, it would take a while, but you would get the problem under control much quicker, don't you think, Jib?
Well, the problem is like a long time since I remember, like they try to control the number, even like they take good care of like a street dog, street cat, like sometimes pick them to the center, like just feed them until they like get old and pass away. But like the street dog keep coming because like owner, like who own the pets, they just don't take good care, don't do like
snip,
and then new puppy and they cannot feed them, they just like
there you go,
throw them away somewhere, sometimes like throw into the Klong, like just drown them.
Yeah, there was a video not that long ago. Someone threw a bag of puppies into the Klong. Someone filmed it, and they fished the bag of puppies out of the Klong, and then they chased the guy down and got his license plate. It kind of went viral here. Yeah, Joe. So Joe says if he has street dogs, he'd feed them, give them meds if it would help. So actually, my friend Rob does this all the time. Joe and Rob's a great dude. He loves animals, and Jib knows him as well. He's like a big snake guy too. He goes herping every week. He's like, "Hey, you want to come herping tonight?" I'm like, "Not tonight, bro." But he cares for a lot of soy dogs like around him, and he'll go out and like he'll give them medicine. He worked with a nonprofit when he lived on, I think, Samui, where they would go trank the soy dogs, neuter them, give them shots, deworm them, all of that. Rob's like, and there's a lot of people like that who really care for dogs, but Rob's one of those guys, and he's even like he's broken up fights between soy dogs because he didn't want them to hurt each other, got and bit, and had to go get the boosters for his rabies vax. Senior Frank, yeah, my girlfriend keeps cat food as well. Jim's face. 0 dogs about 2 blocks up over there. A couple 95 soys are run by well-fed cats. So yeah, we have this. So we live on one of the Pung Mi soys, and there's no soy dogs on our soy per se. Actually, Rob just sent me a photo. I was just talking about him on the live stream. But there's no dogs on our soy dogs. There's a couple people who have dogs who let them like live outside of the house, but there's no soy dogs on our soy. On 93, there's a handful on 93 and up on 17 for sure. But down here, no, but there's definitely some soy cats in the neighborhood. And every couple nights you'll hear some cats fucking out on the yak. Right? Oh, Steve, thanks. Yeah, please do forward to me. I definitely love to check it out and maybe could guess kind of where it is. Jib will be able to pick up on the accent, like the Thai accent, if there's anyone talking and kind of figure out it might be here. Dana, remind me after your live about your older videos. I learned something. Oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, well, I'll hit you up on Telegram. Doesn't the Queen Princess have a spayed neuter program? I don't know. Jib, does are you? I guess you're talking about Sarantone, maybe Princess Sarantone.
Maybe Princess Pacharakitiyapha.
From
Different.
from Mahidol, the one who's a professor.
No. Oh yeah, that's a Princess Julapon.
Yeah.
She like has many projects about dogs and cat. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe that one.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, again, spade and neuter is the way to do it. Obviously, ties are in America, right? We have kill shelters where they'll take dogs in off the street, and then if no one claims them or adopts them, they kill them. Ties being Buddhist, they obviously
feed them,
yeah,
take care until
they die. Yeah. Rabies. Also, any coon cats? My neighbor. What's a coon cat? Is that like a? You mean like a raccoon? I don't know what a coon cat is. Might be my own ignorance on that. Coon cat.
Mancoon?
No, I think raccoon. Like
No, we don't have it here.
Or like
if
cats that.
Raccoon, you have to pay a lot to have it here.
Oh, it's a huge cat.
Oh, Mancoon, I think.
Maybe. No, maybe we have, but not the cats we usually have out on the soys are really small. The other thing I see with the soy cats, Frank, maybe let me know if you see this with the cats in your hood, since you have a lot of cats. Do you see the cats with like the half tail or the broken tails? Oh yeah, that's a coon cat.
Mancoon.
That's a big cat. Oh yeah, no, I've never seen those here. At least not. Oh god damn! Look at this. Yeah, there we go. It's a big ass cat. Is that what you're talking about, Joe?
I want one.
Oh, hate the player. Hate the game says soy honey badger. Soy honey badgers. Yeah, that's definitely possible. Honey badger is like a vicious animal. Like, have you ever seen the internet viral video? Honey badger don't give a fuck.
No, it's like the long one with the like sharp teeth.
Yeah, but it's immune to venom.
In your kitchen.
Oh no, that's the raccoon, but the
no, not raccoon.
Honey badger. But the honey badgers are like immune to snake venom.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Oh, Pangpon,
most shelters here in Florida, most shelters are no kill now, which means they oh, Chris, man, thank you so much for the got another coffee. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you guys' support, man. Big time. Yeah, honey badger. Mongoose.
Oh, I like it.
To
prevent snake, to protect you from snakes.
Yeah, well, yeah, they do kill snakes.
We like it.
So most shelters here are no kill shelters now, which means they get full and can't accept anyone. Yeah, that's horrible, man. Again, like I don't want animals to get killed, like especially if it's like their pets that were thrown out in the street, like it's not their fault. But at the same time, like animal control has to be a thing. I think Thailand's figuring out. I've seen a lot of progress with the almost decade I've lived here. In the past like 8 years, there's definitely been a big shift in the way that Thailand, at least in Bangkok, approaches animals and like the work that some of the nonprofits do.
They try to put like a chip to pets, like a dog and cat first, and like somehow this program failed. Like people come out and like, no, we don't want it. So they don't know which like a this dog owned to who cannot track. So that's the problem here. People don't like really like care or want to make it better.
In America, I think the big thing with the chips is, you know, if your animal gets lost, you can try to get it back if they find it and it's chipped. But I think the other thing I've seen a lot here, babe, and tell me if, especially the last 5 years, is that there's a lot of people who, there's a lot of improvement on the way that people treat having a pet. And there's been a lot of like sort of public education on the responsibilities of pet ownership. And I see that come through in media, local Thai media, quite a bit more.
Well, I see like more people concerned about pets, like their quality of life, but still like somewhere far away or even in a city, some people still don't care.
Yeah.
They just beat the dog and like, oh, one time when I work in Khon Kaen, it's like, it's not in Khon Kaen city, it's far away from Khon Kaen city, like like a hour drive from Khon Kaen City. It's like my team and I waiting for food in one restaurant. Like it's like just local restaurant. And the next door is like a kind of, I don't know what shop it was, but the guy slammed the dog to the ground. We just like, we hear like the dog like crying. It's like, what's that? And we look behind. It's like that guy beat the dog today, and I don't know if he chopped the dog like to eat or what. But yeah, it's like that's the city with the dam. That one. It's like at the main road, and we like all the girls like researching team waiting for food, and like that guy killed the dog next to us. I don't know how can he did that.
Yeah, that's wild. I never even heard that. But yeah, like I said, at least in Bangkok, I see people being a lot more responsible with pet ownership, and I think a lot of that is media, and I think a lot of that is like the outreach from some of like the Soy Dog Foundation and stuff, and Watchdog, like people who are really putting work in to like get that message out there. So Maine Coon cats are about 30 or 40% bigger than the typical house cat. Damn. No, I'm allergic to cats. So Frank says, yeah, he sees the cats with the tail. They lose their tails sleeping in or getting hit by cars. Oh, that's what happens. I always wonder why, like you see a big sort of population of the cats with like these half tails or no tails. That makes a lot of sense. Like sleeping in a car, gets stuck inside of the belt and gets ripped off. A cat with no tails are called a Hemingway. Huh? Really? I never heard that term. Stuck says you work with the rescue here in several countries, including Thailand. Nice, man. Are you gonna? So like, when you work with the rescue, do you go out and like do you take animals in, or do you guys like kind of do like catch and release and like kind of help them clean them up? I know when Rob was working, I think it was Samui that he was working with the cat or with the Animal Foundation. They would capture a lot of the soy dogs. Like they would go out and trank them. They had a trank gun, and they would bring them back, neuter them, give them all their meds, clean them if they needed to be, and then once they fed them, they would let them back out into the neighborhood they got them from. Do you guys do something similar, or what's the approach that you took, Stock? They can lose their tails in fights with dogs or other large animals. So actually, you talk about fight with dog. On our soy, the Pumi soy that we live off of, there's a family that has like a little restaurant, and they have this little yappy dog. And for like I say, like the first 6 months, babe, that we lived here, this dog would bark at us every time every time we go by, it would bark at us. And so now it just ignores us and like kind of it'll walk next to us sometimes, be like, hey, what's up, but doesn't bark anymore. But I saw it just the other day get into a fight with a cat, and the cat whooped its ass. There's this black soy cat that lives on the soy, and you know the one I'm talking about, Jib, the black one. And it came out of nowhere and ran up on this dog and just swiped it. The dog freaked out and ran into the house that its owners live in, like all the way in. I've never seen this dog go into the house before. It's always just hanging on the soy. And it just like the cat put a beating on it. It's so funny.
It's a small dog.
Yeah, it's a small dog, but it's still bigger than the cat.
But a cat has like what?
Claw. Yeah, but the dog was just hanging out. So like he did get ambushed by the cat, but the cat was fast too, came out of nowhere. Joe, man. Yeah, same thing. If I saw a guy kill a dog on the street, again, like I killed the dog that was trying to attack me, but it sounds like Jib saying like this dog was just hanging out. And
I don't know if it's his dog or someone else's
yeah,
dog.
I definitely, I probably would have stepped in, but I could understand why a bunch of girls who are there doing nutrition research,
it's small girls
in a place you don't know.
Yeah, in a place we don't know, and I'm not sure if that guy is Thai or not. And like we all girls in my size, and that time I didn't take any combat class yet. Yeah. But even I'm not sure I want to get fight for that because I saw he has a knife too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You get out into rural Thailand, you see people with like knives, like carrying
Yeah,
stuff
you have
around.
to beware.
Yeah.
Like, try not to step into like.
Yeah. So Joe P, South Florida, they're called Hemingways. I've never heard them called that outside of there. It's because of the Hemingway house has many bobtail. Oh, okay. That's why y'all call them Hemingways out there. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I've never heard that term before, but again, I've also never lived in Southern Florida. But yeah, the Hemingway house, Hemingway, the writer, was a
Oh,
big Florida guy.
he's from Florida.
Oh no, he lived there. He also lived in Cuba, right? Hemingway lived in Cuba, and then was it Key West he lived in? Yeah, 100+ Hemingway cats in Key West at one house.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Hemingway lived in Key West at the end of his life anyway. Cats have claws and evil in their weapons bag. Yeah, cats are definitely evil. I don't understand. Like my buddy Pack, and I'll have Pack on the channel to talk about his coffee business at some point. But he loves him and his wife love their cats, and it's like their little fur baby. But man, I don't understand, like, getting, like, a dog is a very cool animal to have as a pet, right? And like dogs are very affectionate and they're fun to play with. Like we obviously don't have the land for a big dog, but living in the city, but even a small dog is fun. Cats are just kind of like, they hang out, they act like you're just annoying them all the time, right? They want you to like take care of them like nonstop. Whereas a dog is like, what can I do for you, boss? You're my best friend. What can I do? Cats just kind of annoying. Like cats are sort of like the assholes of the pet world. Jim's face. Spay, neuter, worm, rabies shots, release them where they were picked up, or the rescue in Sangla, Kanachaburi. Nice. Yeah. So, how long, if you deworm a dog, right? You give them worm medication or whatever. Like a lot of times, I've seen them like pulling the worms out of people. Like how long does that last? Or pulling the worms out of animals. How long does that last for the animal? Yeah, Stuck. So it's the Hemingway house. So that's the one in Key West, I guess you guys are talking about. And I'm pretty sure like he did live in Key West at the end of his life. Hate the player, hate the game. Cats are totally bipolar and homicidal. 100% correct. Best comment ever. Jim's face, but he's absolutely right. Cats are bipolar, homicidal animals.
It's cute.
They're sitting there planning world domination.
It's a hunter, yeah. Like
how can we kill these humans?
I think Australia has a problem with a wild cat, like a cat that run away from the house, and they keep like a expand the number and kill like animals in the wild. So I think Australia has a program that like get rid of number of the cat.
Australia has problems with wildlife in general. Like everything wants to kill you in Australia, including the cats.
Cat kill like birds.
Yeah. Well, cats kill birds everywhere, but I'm pretty sure like,
but like the wild birds.
If you're gonna have a cat, like homicidal cats, it's gonna be Australia because everything there seems like it wants to kill you. Worst spiders in the world, snakes, everything. Yeah, dogs act like they need you. Cats act like they tolerate you. Absolutely. Dogs are the best pets. Cats are just assholes. Or actually, to go back to hate the player, hate the games, absolutely perfect comment on this subject. Cats are totally bipolar and homicidal and assholes on top of it all. So yeah, so if you deworm, it's good for 1 year for a dog. Okay, that's not bad. So yeah, I guess when you're going out and you're deworming, a lot of these dogs, like I saw there's a soy dog up on 17, and sometimes it'll come down the connection to our soy. And I've seen him like just pooping out worms and they just like hanging out of his back. And like one of the people who live up on 17 will come over, just yank the worms out of his butt and throw them on the side of the road. They're probably not the best way to do it. They have so in America, let me explain this concept to Jib. We have crazy old Karens that will collect like 700 cats and have them living in their like 20 square meter house.
Oh, we have it here.
Many.
We have many.
Thai cat ladies.
Oh, it's like a old lady, like say alone in a house and like have lots of cat. Like like a small townhouse, like a 1 unit townhouse, and like maybe 100 cats. So like it smell until like a neighbor like call like the district office,
Yeah.
complain about this, and then they come to check and try to like take some cats to the shelter, and she like deny for that. So there's many cases here in Thailand.
There's a lady that runs a famous cat website called Kingdom of Tiger. Is that it?
Yeah. So the King of the Tiger, she's I don't know where she start from, because I follow her page when she already famous. She has like a many chubby cat, her own, like a very cute cats, like you know, like Scottish fold or something, like a exotic cat, something like name that I can't remember, but it's so cute. And like she started to help like a street cat or abandoned cats, just cats, no dog. So like lately she opened a cat cafe, but it's far from here, so it's far for me to go there. So I just follow her and like her posts, and like she helped the street cat by like send a cat food, or if the cat get like hurt, someone would drop it at her cafe, and she will bring it to see the vet. Mm.
How many millions of followers on her page?
Oh, a lot.
This woman's page is like crazy popular. But there was an incident like maybe 4 years ago. There's this douchebag Mormon YouTuber from America in Thailand called My Mate Nate. 3 million followers on this Kingdom of Tiger page. But yeah, you can check it out. So there's this douchebag like punk, like this douchebag American white kid named My Mate Nate. He used to be a Mormon missionary, and he became a Thai. He speaks Thai. He became a Thai YouTuber, and he put a video up where him and his girlfriend had his cat fight a scorpion in their house, and the scorpion like was biting, like clamping down with his claws on the lip of the cat and stinging it, and the cat was like freaking out, and they kept putting it. Yeah, here's the chubby cats. So this douchebag kept like putting the like letting the scorpion snip on the cats. This woman's page, she posted on her page, and like millions of people went ape shit over this. And this kid is a douchebag. Like he'd done a lot of douchey shit, and his personality is kind of douchey. But the followers on this page just went absolutely ape shit, and he ended up, for this and something else, having to like go on TV and make public apologies, get summoned by the government, by the police, and yeah, and unfortunately they didn't kick him out. I was hoping they would.
Did he get married to the Thai?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He married some Thai girl, like probably converted her to his religion as well. So hate again, another valid point. I'm really appreciative of Hate the Player, Hate the Game on this stream today. Didn't people learn from Tiger King? Household cats are just smaller. Absolutely. Don't get covered in sardine oil. Isn't that what what's her name did with her husband, the bitch Carol Bassin? Jaren is the perfect description of a cat lady. Yeah. Out of the top 25 deadliest snakes, we have 23. The Born Nomad Productions lives in Australia. Oh. The 23 of the top 25 deadliest snakes or snacks, right? I think America has the top 25 deadliest snacks. You guys have the deadliest snakes. Born Nomad Productions.
23. Oh, does they have like a serum for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe not the top 25 that they have out there.
Can you get it in the city?
Yeah, they have them everywhere. Like, if you ever see the videos of like kangaroos fighting each other in Australia, or people finding like deadly snakes in their house.
I saw like a video that guy fight kangaroo to let
the dog go. Yeah.
Let the dog go.
See, right? Damn, even the snacks are deadly. Yeah, man, Australia, everything's killing you. Snacks, they must have imported those deadly snacks from America, and they became invasive. They even we turned their Hungry Jack into Burger Kings. We're killing everything out there. Best typo on the stream ever. Best typo ever. 23 of the most 25 deadly stacks available in Australia. I might make a t-shirt about that, like deadly stacks in Australia. Born Nomad Productions, man. Do you ever see like do you run into snakes at all where you live, or do you see like I know I see the videos of you guys have these massive spiders that invade people's houses and shit. The worming medication that they were giving them would last about 2 to 3 months. Total cost for everything was 1,300 baht per dog. We did over 30 dogs during my 2 trip. Wow, man. That's a lot of money, 1,300 baht. But again, if you're neutering them and you're helping curb that population, then well worth it. I would imagine. The ants in Australia, everything in Australia is right. The country, everything in that country is trying to kill you. It's on fire, right? They've got crocodiles that eat people. I'm sure you guys have seen that video lately too of the guy who's like he's in the swamps in Australia and like this croc keeps coming up behind him and he just taps it on the nose. He's like, go away, I'm working here. But yeah, definitely like you look at like everything in Australia. I'm pretty sure they have like what those ants that eat people's flesh, right? Those jumbo ants. Like here in Thailand, like if you go up north or like to the northeast, they've got those the ants that will bite you and like they have venom. Yeah.
Once and it's like bad.
Yeah, I got bit by an ant once and it was like my whole arm swelled up. It was crazy. I was like maybe 1 or 2 ant bites. I've been bitten by rattlesnakes in Texas. Really got bitten by a rattlesnake. So did you have to get anti-venom or my buddy Rob, the one who yeah. My buddy Rob, the one who takes care of the dogs, he goes herping and he has a friend who has a king cobra and the guy handles the king cobra with no hook. He'll just pick it up and play with it, handle it. And absolutely insane if you ask me. And he's been bit a few times by this animal, by this king cobra, and like it like kills the skin off. He's got to go and get it like debrided and everything, and they've got the anti-venom like on stock. But I mean, it's just crazy to to handle without a hook a king cobra. Born Nomad, and I wanted to go to snake hunting in Australia for a long time, just never made it for it. Inland Taipei is on my bucket list. And so Stuck, when you're here, I'll definitely hook you up with Rob. You guys can go herping together. He goes every week. He's got like a bunch of spots. Yeah. Venomous Twinkies. The venomous Twinkies. A Twinkie's a pastry, like a mass-produced pastry, cream-filled pastry that they sell in America. They're definitely delicious, not good for you. They're sweet, right? So it's sugar and fat. So with a little bit of flour in there to make it fluffy. Joe, man, thanks for sharing the link. Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate everyone who supported, man. Guys, thank you so much. I really do appreciate every one of it. I thought it was cheap here. Would cost. I thought it was cheap, 1,300 baht, 6,000 baht in the U.S. to do the same treatment to the dog, man.
For a year?
No, for that one-time treatment that they would do, and it would be good for like a year.
Well, 6,000 baht, like think about like it cover a year. It's okay.
Yeah.
But compared to 1,300.
Yeah, not
that's
cheap.
A lot.
Yeah, definitely quite a bit of money. But again, 1,300 for a year, and again, if you're spayed and neutering them, then you're just helping curb that population long term. Cut the bits, sucked out, then the shot. So you actually sucked out the poison. Does that work? I've heard that doesn't actually work, but like to cut it and suck it out. Yeah. Yeah, we have a few in the suburbs. We also have snakes eating frogs and snakes that kill You have a snake that kills crocodiles? What the fuck? Well, how do you have a snake that kills a croc?
That's only anaconda that can eat the crocodile.
So I've seen a snake kill. I've seen a video of a snake kill a monitor lizard, like a constrictor, like wrap it up and kill it. And but one that kills a croc.
Is it python?
Yeah, it must be a python. Oh my god. Australia's crazy.
In Australia.
Why would anyone go to Australia? That is nuts. What are you guys doing? Now I know why it was a penal colony. They send everyone there, like, hey, you guys will die. Everything here will kill you. The kangaroos will beat you up. The snakes will eat you. Honey badgers will fuck you. It's all good.
Wow.
Joe says it works to cut it and suck the venom out.
Okay, but what if it's like king cobra?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just
Your tongue might not work
yeah.
after that.
Well, no, because the venom has to go in, right? It's not poison, it's venom. But then Rob was telling me that some of the snakes are actually poisonous and venomous. That like the snakes that spit, they're both poison and venomous.
I don't know, but when he's here, I can take him to the snake park.
Oh yeah, we have a snake park in
and
Siam.
lots of like a knowledge in there.
Snake steaks don't taste too bad. You know, I've had snake before, but I never amount of meat that I would consider a snake. I mean, this is like 20 years ago. I don't know what type of snake it was, but yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, it's a little weird tasting, kind of gamey, but not horrible. But I guess your snakes are so big you can have snake steaks. It's a lot of probably like the size of like a salmon steak. Yeah, and snake's not bad meat. It's just yeah. I mean, it's not bad meat. It's just not the greatest thing. But I guess in Australia where you have snakes big enough to kill fucking crocodiles, you can get a whole steak out of it. Also, the 1,300 baht that includes spade, neuter, rabies shots, and worming. Good. Yeah, that's not bad. And of course, like the cost of tagging them, tranking them, bringing them in, getting them, all set up, definitely worth it. This Frank says my aunt lives in a country in Texas on a small ranch and has to kill about 20 rattlesnakes every year. A few years back, she had a nest under a damn. They had to call a professional for that. That's crazy. But my buddy John, his father lives in Montana, and he carries a revolver with him everywhere he goes on his ranch. And I think he owns like John's father owns like 1,000 acres. It's big. Yeah. And so he's the first 2 rounds are something called snake shot. It's like a snake round in the revolver. So he'll be like out on his ATV and rattlesnakes will like come up on him. He'll just pull the revolver out and I guess it's like a little pellet shot, kind of like bird shot. And he'll just blast the rattlesnake with it. But he does a couple hundred a year as well, like out working. He's got a hay farm and a horse farm. Sounds like the movie like Tremor. That thing, like Tremors. Tremor. Yeah, Tremor. Yeah. Anyone have those Tremor snakes? Australia probably has Tremor snakes. In Australia, they watch the Tremors movie and they're like, "This is a documentary? I didn't know these lived outside the country." We have pythons in the Everglades that kill gators. Yeah, Florida is essentially like America's Australia. It's not like a normal, like a native. I don't think they're native to Florida. I think someone brought them there and then they became invasive. Okay. Yeah, strangles them at the water's edge, ambush city. I saw a video not that long ago. Someone was riding their bike in Florida on like a bike path. And it was like, I guess it must have been like close to dusk or whatever. And he had a headlamp on and riding his bike. He was like, I want to get home before it's I want to get off the bike path before it's too dark. And he ended up hitting a alligator and flipping over on his bike and like got up and grabbed his bike and ran away. So Steve says snake restaurants in Tokyo, you pick the snake and they kill, skin it, grill it. I said, yeah, I could see that. Japanese people eat like some crazy shit, man. So that's definitely possible. The Stuck says very few snakes are poisonous, and that's only due to their diet. Oh, really? So their diet makes up. Yeah, Rob. So guess what they eat? Because Rob was telling me what. Oh, I guess like you mean evolutionarily wise, like what they eat is something that they can bite. They don't have to spit it at. Yeah, Rob was telling me that it's like a snake that spits venom that is poisonous and venomous, but most are just venomous is what he told me. Thai cobra that can spit I don't know, was this poison or venom? You can eat venomous snake if you avoid the venom sacs, but you cannot eat the poisonous snake if there's such a thing. So no, I think like in this case, like the venom is also poisonous, right? Is the idea, like the ones that spit it. Yeah, but actually, have you ever been to like one of the Thai bars where they have the Lao Khao, the Thai whiskey, and they put the snake in it, the cobra in it? I tried it once. It's pretty nasty. And actually, I got a rash. I was with this kid Setha, who was I'll do a whole series on Setha stories because Seth is I think I mentioned before, Seth is the kid who got like sockdown tattoos at the same shop and same needle they were tattooing ladyboy sex workers with. He's a stable genius. But me and him were out and he wanted to see Soy Cowboy. And then like we did a shot of Lao Cow and I got a rash for whatever reason. It was the one with the rattlesnake in it or the cobra in it. Rattlesnake is pretty good eating. Well, everything below the head. Yeah. Again, like I had snake. It's not bad meat at all. And I could definitely see like you could do like a grilled snake, like a satay style. You could do like a snake sandwich. Yeah. Could be good. I love snakes, but I've eaten quite a few different species. Yeah, I mean, yeah, food's food, right? I mean, especially if you're out hunting, protein. If you got to kill it, might as well eat it, right? Like that's why, like I think, like people who hunt for food, perfectly fine. People who hunt for trophies, kind of douchebags. Killer Bee and Reddit. Killer Bee. Now, Florida is America's Australia, but America is the world's Florida. So for sure, right? The Florida man, American man. What do you say here? My aunt and cousin carry pistols and shotguns when they walk around the. Oh yeah, for sure. Like in Texas, right? I'm pretty sure everyone carries a pistol everywhere. But in Texas, they have wild hogs too, right? So and they'll attack humans and kill you. Wild pigs. Huh? Yeah, and they'll kill humans. So you have to be able to kill off a few wild pigs if you want to. Or if you have to. Really? Yeah, my friend who has a farm in Austin, he kills like maybe like 50 a week. Yeah. He has a weed farm in Austin, Texas, and they'll come and eat all his weed. And so he has traps to kill all the hogs, the wild hogs, feral pigs. Gators and snakes gumbo. Gator and snake gumbo sounds good. Actually, that would probably be pretty damn good. Gator snake gumbo, not bad. A little bit of andouille sausage in there to get that fat. Yeah, maybe a couple shrimp as well. Like, yeah, nice thick roux, nice and dark. So here's Josh here. We have Karens in Ohio, and they are worse than snakes. Absolutely. Josh, didn't you tell me the Twisted Tea guy was from Ohio as well? The guy who smashed another dude in the face with a Twisted Tea, and definitely. I think that Josh said that was Ohio is a strange place, man. There's a great poster, or it's a meme. It said more astronauts have come from Ohio than any other state. Really? What is it about your state that makes people want to flee the planet? Cambodia ate a lot of water snake. Yeah, they eat a lot of wild animal in Cambodia for sure. Even again, I was there 15 years ago, and you could get like even in Phnom Penh, like people serve like grilled rat, right? They said they brought them in from the countryside. I would hope, but who knows, right? Plenty of rats in Phnom Penh for them to catch, but grilled rat, grilled snake, all that was like very common fare in Cambodia, and not bad. I had a little bit of a grilled rat not in Phnom Penh, but when I was outside the city. I had grilled snake in Cambodia. I ate tarantula. Like it's just food, man. It's all protein, right? It doesn't make a difference. Water moccasins are scarier than rattlers. Rattlers let you know when they're too close. Yeah, definitely. Water moccasins are definitely scary. It's one of the snakes I think we had up in New England as well. Soy Cowboy rash, yeah, yeah, but not from spicy sausage. I got it from rattlesnake whiskey. You hunt the rats or you hunt the snakes in Florida, Joe? Actually, do the helicopter snake hunting. I'm just joking. Or you could get a drone snake hunting. Yeah, Elyria, Ohio. It's a couple miles away. Okay, I was about to say where is it in Ohio because my geography of the area is not great. You get a phone call. Jim's getting a call. You can go over. Couple miles away. Yeah, I remember Elyria. Is it East Cleveland? Is that where Elyria is at? Yeah, everything's knocking over. You sure that was the snake that gave you the rash? That's what I'm sticking with, Born Nomad Productions. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Nothing scarier than an Ohio Karen. Absolutely, man. Ohio's on a different level altogether. Like, it's just this weird. I don't know, man. Ohio. Like I said, I lived there. I met Josh. I made some great friends, but it's definitely a strange place compared to other places in the country, other places in the world I've lived. Crossing Route 57, just like crossing the other side of the tracks. Yeah, Josh, you should start an Ohio Karen YouTube channel, right? Where you just highlight your Ohio Karens, like the kingdom of the Karen kingdom of the Karens, Ohio, USA. What state grows the most potatoes? Oh, obviously, I think the go-to answer would be Idaho, but probably not, right? Just like Georgia doesn't grow the most peaches, California does. So, maybe Florida, maybe I don't know, Montana, something like that. I think you need like sandy grass or sandy soil for potato growing, right? 20 miles west of North Olmsted. Josh, you're in North Olmsted or Olmsted Township, or is it the same thing, or is one a subset of the other? I forget. Hog hunting. So is that what you call going out to the clubs in Florida? Because that's what they call it in Ohio, Joe. Hog hunting. People eat eel. I've actually had eel when I grew up in Rhode Island, and you could fish for eel in the East Bay. And when I was a kid, you go fishing there. No, oh yeah, sea eel, but it's like they're small. Yeah, and they just reel it in and barbecue it. It's actually quite good. Make sandwich out of it. Actually, I used to put the eel, pull the spine out, put the eel meat on hot dog bun with a little bit of barbecue sauce. Really good. It's Ohio's a melting pot where nothing melts. It's a bunch of things that melt at a specific temperature higher than what Ohio gets to. In Texas, you can get rattlers and water moccasins on the state. God damn. I love Texas as a state. I think there's a lot of cool things about it. And if I were to live back in the U.S., honestly, Texas, maybe like Fort Worth or Austin would be where I would end up. But I don't know, man. Like all these crazy things that you hear out in Texas, kind of wild. Also, Josh says Olmsted Township is directly south and touches North Olmsted. Does it consensually touch it, or is it inconsensual contact, Josh? You gotta let us know. Idaho still grows the most potatoes by weight. Okay. Am I right that to grow potatoes, the soil needs to be like kind of sandy and loose? Is that like the best growing conditions for potatoes? 30 minutes west of Cox and Palmer on I-90, just before the turnpike. Yeah. Oh God, Parma, Ohio, guys. What a unique city Parma, Ohio is. Like oh man, it's a really strange place. This is where Josh and I used to work together, and our office was like right behind like the biggest mosque in Ohio. And like anytime there was like a Muslim holiday, like all of a sudden, for whatever reason, our work people would just think they could park in our work parking lot. And then like the best restaurant, I swear to God, the best restaurant in Parma, Ohio is a sandwich shop inside of a Valero gas station. Hands down, like the best place to eat in Parma. But yeah, like they never plow the roads. I mean, it's such a shithole of a town. I mean, it was a weird place for Cox to put their headquarters for the state, because so many better locations. Actually, you should screen and show the Palmer tourism. I don't have it set up to stream here, but I'll link it on the if you guys Google or go to YouTube and search hastily made Palmer tourism video, it's they're hilarious. It's parts 1 and 2. Also, Parma State of Mind, which is a parody of New York State of Mind. Fantastic video. Yeah, hate the player, hate the game, right, man? Every state has their Parma. I grew up in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which I would argue is probably the Parma of Rhode Island. Yeah, so the sandwich shop, so good. Valero is the only reason to go to Palma. This sandwich shop, I swear more people go to this gas station for these sandwiches than they do for the actual gas or anything else. Like the sandwiches are probably some of the best sandwiches I've ever had, and they do fresh made pretzels, and they do like all types of like really cool like stuff that you wouldn't expect inside a gas station. And I would probably go there 3 or 4 times a week for lunch, and it's cheap. I would spend like $3, $4 for like a sandwich and a drink, and and whatever. And yeah, people would be like, "Oh, we should go to this place for lunch." I'm like, "No, man, go to the gas station, dude. That's the best spot." Kelly grew up in Parma, still hates it. Yeah, dude. So same thing. I grew up in Pawtucket. I hate Pawtucket. I'm sure that there's redeeming qualities to the city I grew up in. I just don't know them. Yes, you do screenshot. No, I mean, I'm the way I have everything set up, Josh, with the screen and like my browser. It's not easy for me to share right now. I've only got the one monitor. I'm close to the largest potato production in Florida, Hastings, Florida. Potatoes grow best in loose, well-drained loam soil. Ah, okay. Yeah, I guess the loose, well-drained soil makes sense. They grow potatoes here in Thailand. I just don't know what part, because we get domestic potatoes. They're smaller here. Potatoes have a really good, like a really nice kind of creamy taste. The domestic ones, not quite like not like russets or anything, but pretty good. Man, got me thinking about all the vegetables. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day because I was making stewed vegetables the other night, and cabbage has become one of my favorite vegetables. Thai cabbage. And the way Thais cook it, where it's like they almost overcook it, and with the type of soup. I grew up hating cabbage. My mother, who was not the greatest of cooks, used to make this dish with cabbage that was like always undercooked, and it was like cabbage and potatoes. I forget what she called it. The worst dish ever. And like unseasoned, bland, undercooked cabbage. So I grew up like hating cabbage, and I got to Thailand and eating cabbage here, where they make it much softer, and the way they season it, it's really good. It's become like my favorite video. Not my favorite video. Sorry, I was looking at some of my favorite vegetable. Josh, I'm going to allow you to talk shit about Mac only because it's your birthday. Any other day, you got an hour left, buddy. So get it in. Yeah, guys, Joe threw it up in the comments, so check that out. I assume this is the hastily made Palmer video. Thank you, Joe. You're the man. Appreciate it. But yeah, cabbage, man. The way they cook cabbage here, so good. Growing up, cabbage, yeah, not so great. And my mother, like I said, just some things that she cooked really well, like, or at least I grew up with it, so to me it was really good. But in retrospect, not the greatest of home cooks. But this cabbage dish was just horrible. Wrecked me on all types of cabbage dishes for a long time. But now, hands down, my favorite. Grubs wasted your potatoes. Oh, rhubarb, man, I love rhubarb. Some of the best stuff in the world. Rhubarb. When I was a kid, my grandfather grew rhubarb in his yard. And my grandmother would make like rhubarb and strawberry preserves, and she would make jars and jars of it, and she would preserve like he grew vegetables all summer long, spring and summer, and so she would preserve all the vegetables that they didn't eat fresh. And so when I would visit my grandparents, like in the wintertime, they lived in the town north of me. They had these racks in the basement. They would just fill with preserved vegetables, and rhubarb strawberry preserve was always my favorite thing. And my grandmother would basically just toast bread, a little bit of butter, and slap on some strawberry rhubarb preserve on there. I could eat that for days. It was so good. Every now and then I'll see something with rhubarb out here in Thailand, and I'll get it. It just brings me back to my childhood. Listen, I freaking hate Samsung just as much. Josh, you and Hate the Player, Hate the Game have similar mindsets on everything. Just gonna hate. You should take his name. So yeah, the grubs. I tried to grow tomatoes once when I lived in Rhode Island, and grubs ruined my whole tomato plant. Yikes, don't know about how to cook cabbage. Yankees don't know how to cook carriage. Sorry. Yeah, that's very true. It might have very much been a northern thing, stuck. Joe, no, so they definitely, she made that a few times. Again, with the cabbage being grossly undercooked. But no, it was like some dish with like potatoes and cabbage and like just unseasoned. It was really bad. Also, Senior Frank, they grow potatoes in Naksawan, a few hours north of Bangkok, probably other places too. Okay. I didn't know if it came from like a lot of the vegetables, like the seasonal stuff comes from like North Thailand. But I know that there's a lot of farms just on the sort of perimeter, the periphery of Bangkok, if you will. One thing I'll say I love about getting vegetables here, and it probably makes the biggest difference to vegetables in the US. Everything is picked when it's ready to eat here. So like you're always getting fresh vegetables as opposed to, you know, like in the US, it's been on a truck for like 2 weeks and like treated with gas so that it doesn't ripen too quick. You know, really great experience to eat. And I think like for, especially like where Frank lives, where I live, you know, where we're not in condos, we're in houses on the soy in the neighborhoods, and especially Frank living out in the living on the market soy, right? It's just so easy to get like access to like super high quality, really cheap, I should say really affordable, you know, low cost vegetables, produce, everything. And it just be so good and so fresh. Fruit, especially. Like if you've never, like the first time you come to Thailand, you eat fruit here, it's great. And like, it just blows your mind. Like I thought I had mangoes before I lived in Thailand. And the first time you eat a mango in Thailand, or the first time you eat a watermelon in Thailand, you realize how crappy the fruit in America is. And like, that's what I love about having the studio here at home. You know, when we go out for lunch or we go to grab a snack, like we can get fresh fruit right on the soy. It's so good. Chinese napa cabbage in the States is my favorite. Yeah, Chinese cabbage is really good too, and a lot more flavorful than American cabbage. But even the Thai heads of cabbage here, because they're picked ready to, like when they're ready to eat, the flavor is so much better than in the U.S. Joe's all about it. Don't be a Volpe. Damn right. Don't be a Volpe. All right. Have a good birthday, Josh. Man, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hey, Hike, man, what's going on? You're about to go to sleep, but no, you are not. I'm actually just about to wrap up. I've been going just over 3 hours. I've got to get to work. Just, you know, just bullshit and Hike. I was talking earlier about like some of the stuff. Mike's doing better. I saw he sent me a few messages. I'm gonna have to check in, see what he's up to.
We should go to stock up like a dry food.
Okay. All right. So Jib's telling me we gotta go do something. Oi, resembles the macro mark. Screen test, backlight test, born nomad. All right, go Hike. Yeah, Alabama internet service, places to go live in Bangkok. Yeah. Also, Stuck's giving us the rundown. Yeah, so Jib will definitely hit up some of the other space for you. What's a Volpe? Well, Josh and I will actually get into that another time. But it's basically it's just a term for a guy we know that is the definition of sort of like American dude who sort of settled for mediocrity in life and like they're stuck at like that, you know, whatever stage in life. It's just a term that Josh and I have. But yeah, DBV, don't be a Volpe. Oh yeah, we talked about soy dogs quite a bit. So Hike, I'm sorry you just got here, but I've got to roll out. Jib, thank you. You guys, Jib will be here for a few more weeks because her school is closed. So she'll be on the live with me at least for a few more weeks until she graduates. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging out. And for all of you guys who supported through the Buy Me a Coffee link, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a great evening or a great day wherever you guys are at. And until next time, keep taking action. Make your ideas reality.